season. The Wild Things taking game one of this three-game series last night, winning by the score of 3-0. Trevor Foss continued his dominance on the mound, his fifth straight complete game in the win. We're going to recap that game for you. Also have a sit-down with Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 1 for 2 last night with a sac fly RBI and a walk. He joined us on the pregame show, so we'll talk with him in a little bit. Also look at the lineups, the first pitch, the pitching matchup. It's all coming up right here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Now, as we get set for this one, Wild Things do come in having taken the first game in the three-game series, a 3-0 win last night in game one. Trevor Foss, as we said, the starter for the Wild Things, he was dominant on the night, went the complete game in the victory. The three scoring chances for the Wild Things started right away in inning number one, as Jamal Austin started things off with a triple. The Wild Things had a runner at third with nobody out. Ricky Rodriguez came up, hit a sacrifice fly, driving in Jamal Austin and making it 1-0 Washington Wild Things. Brian Haar and Dave Popkins Haar would ground out, Popkins would fly out, and that would end the first inning. Wild Things back on the board in the bottom of inning number 3 after with 2 outs as Austin Wobrock and Jamal Austin both grounded out. Ricky Rodriguez hit a triple and would score on a Brian Haar RBI single. Dave Popkins would follow that up with a single himself before Nick Ferdinand struck out with runners at first and second base and 2 away to end the inning. Trevor Foss, from inning number 2 to inning number 5, set down 13 straight Windy City Thunderbolts. In that stretch of 13 straight, he struck out 2. He also got a lot of ground outs and 2 flyouts. A ground ball pitcher, Trevor Foss, as he worked the corners of the plate effectively, kept the ball on the ground and gave his fielders chances to make plays in this one. So Trevor Foss effective again. The Wild Things would add an insurance run in the bottom of the 6th. Dave Popkins, a solo home run, a no-doubter over the right field walls. Reggie Lawson, the right fielder for the Windy City Thunderbolts, just turned and watched it sail over the wall. And that gave the Wild Things a 3-0 lead. And that would be all for the Wild Things. In total, Trevor Foss, the complete game, 9 innings, not giving up a run on 5 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. It was the first complete game shutout thrown by Trevor Foss, as in the other complete games, Foss gave up at least 1 run. So he got the shutout last night on just 5 hits. He was brilliant on the mound. Opposing him was Ryan Strombaum. Strombaum ended up going 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, all earned on 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And really, Strombaum didn't have a bad night either. He was just a victim of no offense. He allowed solo runs in the 1st, 3rd, and 6th. But other than that, he only gave up, a total of those 5 hits. So not a lot of hits through 6 innings of work, giving up the 3 runs. And he really didn't have to work that hard except for in the 1st, 3rd, and 6th when he gave up those runs. The other innings just faced 4 batters in the 2nd, faced 3 batters in the 4th, and faced 4 batters in the 5th. So overall, a good start from Ryan Strombaum as he went 6 innings and gave up just the 3 runs, 3 earned. Then Andrew Lowe came out of the bullpen, pitched a scoreless inning, giving up just 1 hit, and Chris Chigas would finish off pitching the 8th, walking a batter, but getting a double play from Dave Popkins and getting Nick Ferdinand to fly out to end things in the bottom of the 8th. So a good pitching matchup yesterday resulted in a 3-0 Wild Things win. Game 2 of this 3-game series is tonight, as the Wild Things will try to take the series against the Windy City Thunderbolts. First pitch is at 7:05. Last time Windy City was in town, the Wild Things took game 1 of that series as well before dropping the last 2 games and ending up losing the series 2 games to 1. We're going to take our first break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we're going to have a sit-down with Wild Things infielder Ricky Rodriguez. Keep it tuned right here for more Washington Wild Things action right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Be sure to check out MSASports.net every day this spring for the scores, the daily standings, and the weekly rankings, plus daily high school sports broadcasts as well. In May, we will have exclusive coverage of the WPIAL baseball and softball playoffs, the WPIAL boys volleyball and tennis championships, and the WPIL Boys and Girls Track and Lacrosse Championships. Anytime, anywhere, always there, every day this spring on the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show. Currently joined by infielder Ricky Rodriguez. And Ricky, last night 1 for 2 with the triple. He also walked and hit a sac fly. How did it feel last night against the Windy City Thunderbolts here in Game 1? What was working for you at the plate?
I was just really able to capitalize on some pitches that they made. I was really seeing the ball well, so I was able to put some good swings on some pitches that I wanted to hit and helped us capitalize and get a win.
And early in the season, you were batting down in the number 5 spot. Recently, you've been moved up to the number 2 spot in the order. Is there a comfort level batting higher, or does it really make a difference for you in where you are in the lineup?
Honestly, it's not too big of a difference for me. I have a pretty standard approach for my all my ABs, but I do know that hitting higher in the order, with Jamal, got some speed on the bases. I got to give him a couple pitches to steal, but besides that, I'm pretty comfortable wherever I am in the lineup.
And being in that number 2 spot, how important is it for you guys, you and Jamal, to set the table for guys like Brian Hart, Dave Popkins, and the lower guys in the order?
It's big time. As of late, Jamal's been doing a real good job of getting on base early, and I've been able to do my job, move him over, and get him in when I have the chance. But, it's huge. When we get on, we got guys behind us who could definitely drive the ball out of the ballpark and drive us in, so it gives us a good chance to win when we're doing that.
And yesterday, you had Trevor Foss on the mound. With a pitcher on the mound who's on a roll as like he is right now, does that give you a lot of confidence going into the game as an offensive player?
Oh, yeah. With a guy like Foss on the mound, we know that we got a chance to win a ball game every time he's out there, just like a lot of other guys, but he's been really rolling. So when he's out there, we definitely know that if we put up a couple runs up on the board early, it's going to be a high chance for us to get a W.
We've seen you play both in the infield and in the outfield this year. Which position do you like better? What's your more comfortable spot on the field?
I played infield all of college. I recently started playing more outfield as I moved up to the professional level. But honestly, I don't mind either at all. I feel comfortable at both positions. Really just whatever helps the team get a W, that's all I'm here for.
And finally, going into this Game 2 of this 3-game series, how important is it for you guys to pull out the win tonight, and what are kind of the keys of victory for tonight's game?
It's going to be a big-time win if we get the W tonight. Keys of victory, I would say, obviously got to pitch well, play good defense, and just execute with runners on. We do a good job of getting runners on. We just got to make sure to execute with good ABs when we get those runners on.
Thanks, Ricky. Good luck today.
Not a problem. You have a good day.
We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Windy City Thunderbolts. Wild Things winning Game 1 of this series by a score of 3-0 last night, helped by a sac fly by Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez would also add one other hit as he tripled and scored a run in the third inning. I'd like to thank Ricky Rodriguez for joining us on the pregame show today. I'd like to thank all the Wild Things this year for joining us so far, and hope to have many other good interviews coming up later in the season. Tonight, Game 2 of this 3-game series, as the pregame festivities are going on the field. We're going to get you ready with tonight's pitching matchup today for your Washington Wild Things. On the mound, it will be Brandon Hinkle. Hinkle coming into this game. He was out of the rotation for a point as Luke Wilkins came off the disabled list, and with Connor Kendrick still in the Wild Things rotation, Hinkle was removed and put in the bullpen. But tonight, making his 4th start, appearing in his 5th game, has given up 16 and a third, or he's thrown 16 and a third innings, giving up 11 runs, 10 earned, on 17 hits, 6 strikeouts to 10 walks, and a .551 ERA. And in his numbers there, you see he does walk a lot of batters. So tonight, he'll be looking to settle that down, get in the strike zone, and work ahead in the count. With Hinkle, when he falls behind, he has a chance of getting in trouble, and it has hurt him in the past. Comes into this game with a record of 2-2, that .551 ERA. So if Hinkle can stay ahead of hitters tonight and pitch ahead of the zone so the batters have to swing at his pitch, Hinkle should have a good day. On the mound opposing him will be Mitchell Cody. for the Windy City Thunderbolts. Cody comes into this one with a record of 0-1, a 3.76 ERA. Appearing in his 6th game, making his 3rd start of the season, has thrown 14 out of 3rd innings, giving up 10 runs, 6 earned, on 17 hits, 4 walks, and 12 strikeouts. So Mitchell Cody, really, you see the exact opposite of Hinkle. Not a lot of walks, doesn't allow guys to get on base easily. He's going to throw in the strike zone. Not very many strikeouts, as he does only have 12 in 14 and a 3rd innings pitched. So the Wild Things going to be looking for some pitches in the zone, as through 5 games, Cody has only walked 4 batters. Has given up 10 runs, however. Or excuse me, he's given up 6 runs in 14 and a 3rd innings, 6 earned runs, 10 total. So the Wild Things trying to look to get on the board and give Brandon Hinkle a lead and roll with it later in the game. We're going to take another break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. Keep it tuned right here as we get you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Windy City Thunderbolts, as the Wild Things took Game 1 of this series by a score of 3-0 last night. Trevor Foss throwing his 5th straight complete game in the effort, getting the win. Foss in his last 5 starts has a record of 4-1, as he did lose his first complete game against Traverse City, but has won 4 straight starts since, sitting at 4-0. As the Wild Things start to take the field, going to take a look at the lineups real quick before we get to the national anthem. For the Windy City Thunderbolts, they lead off with their second baseman Tim Zier, batting second in left field Coco Johnson. In the 3 spot, shortstop Ransom Malone. Batting 4th behind the plate, Corey Bass. Hitting 5th at first base, Blair Beck. In the 6th spot in right field, Cody Kiefer. Batting 7th at third base, Taylor Smart. Batting 8th, DH Johnny Ironman. And batting 9th in center field, Kevin Barker. We're getting ready for the national anthem here on the field at Consol Energy Park. We're going to take you down to the field right now. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
30th, July 3rd. Our friends here today help with the game: Connor, Edo, Vex, Newark, and Zafera. Please be gentle and careful with the pure furries. Keep food, beverages, and ball players away from them. Protect Auto Glass salutes the national anthem and reminds you that they are the only locally owned American auto glass company sponsoring the Washington Wild Things. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise. Gentlemen and boys, you will remove your caps. Performing tonight's national anthem, acapella stellas from California University.
Stripes and bright stars. Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, just about ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Windy City Thunderbolts. Wild Things take the field like this. In the outfield, left to right, it's Heck, Austin, and Popkins. Left side of the infield held down by Rodriguez and Wobrock. Right side by Haar and Yezo. And behind the plate, Alex McKeon catching tonight's starter, Brandon Hinkle. Hinkle enters this game with a record of 2-2. 5.51 ERA, appearing in his 5th game, making his 4th start. Has thrown in 16 1/3 innings, giving up 11 runs, 10 earned on 17 hits, 10 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So you see the walk numbers up there for Brandon Hinkle. We'll be looking to lower those tonight against the Windy City Thunderbolts and not allow as many free passes. If he can do that, the Wild Things are set for victory. We saw Trevor Foss last night just walk the one batter, and it really helped him out on the mound. The lineup for the Windy City Thunderbolts once again looks like this. They'll lead off with their second baseman, Tim Zier. Batting second in left field, Coco Johnson. Hitting third, the shortstop, Ransom Lalone. Batting fourth, catcher Corey Bass. Hitting fifth at first base, Blair Beck. Batting sixth and playing in right field, Cody Kiefer. Batting seventh at third base, Taylor Smart. Hitting eighth, the designated hitter, Johnny Ironman. And batting ninth and rounding things out, the center fielder, Kevin Barker. Tim Zier stepping in, and we are about ready for baseball here at Consol Energy Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series. As in steps Tim Zier to lead things off. Zier 277, no home runs, and 10 RBIs on this crystal clear Saturday night from Consol Energy Park. Hinkle set, here's his first pitch. And it's a called strike at the letters, no balls, and a strike. First pitch tonight thrown at 7:08 p.m. It's currently 86 degrees outside. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot. Swing and a miss by Zier, and the count goes to 0-2. And for Hinkle, this is what you want to see all night. He's ahead of this first batter, 0-2. If he can stay ahead and make these batters swing at his pitches, he'll have a really good night. Hinkle set, here's the 0-2. And this ball hit to center field. Jamal Austin going back a couple steps, and he'll make the catch. And the first man's retired here in the top of the first. With that out, going to look at tonight's umpires. Behind home plate, Ron Whitting Sr., and on the bases is Mark Schmidt. Coco Johnson stepping in, the left fielder. Johnson enters this one hitting .293, 2 home runs, and 14 RBIs. Played in that left field spot last night as well. Hinkle getting the first out on 3 pitches. Here's the first pitch to Johnson. And that one's high and outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Brandon Hinkle was removed from the rotation at a time as this pitch is lined foul into the seats and right. 1 ball, 1 strike. As when the Wild Things had 5 starters, they reinstated Luke Wilkins from the disabled list. This is when they still had Connor Kendrick. They had 5 main starters, so Hinkle was moved to the bullpen. Kendrick was cut, and Hinkle has been reinserted as the number 5 man. Here's the 1-1. And this one lined to left field and deep. It's hooking, and it'll go foul. Count goes to 1-2. Coco Johnson got a lot of that baseball as it actually hit off the chain link fence in foul territory beyond the Windy City bullpen. Almost got out of here in foul territory. But luckily for Hinkle, it's just a long strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Hinkle's 1-2 pitch. Swing, and this one's hit to left field. Andrew Heck going back to the track, to the wall, leaps! And this ball is gone. Coco Johnson, a solo home run, and Windy City takes the early lead in the top of the first. It's 1-0, but Andrew Heck so close to bringing that ball back, went all the way back to that left field wall, leaped, got his glove about halfway up the Golden Living sign out there in left field, which is a good 5-6 inches above the home run line, and nearly brought that one back, but he can't make the catch, and it's over for a home run. Hinkle's first pitch to Ransom alone is low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Windy City leads 1-0. Here in the top of the first, Lalone will foul the next pitch back to the screen. Count goes to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coco Johnson's third home run of the 2016 season. As Lalone comes into this one hitting .303, 1 home run, 14 RBIs. Hinkle set the 1-1. And this ball popped up. Shallow center. Jamal Austin running in, and he will call everyone off and make the catch. That's out number 2. So Hinkle responds there with a 3-pitch fly out. It's only a solo home run here in the first. Nothing to fret. As he gets the next batter out very quickly. Good thing to see from Hinkle. That'll bring up the catcher Corey Bass hitting in the cleanup spot tonight. That spot was held by Cody Kiefer last night. Kiefer batting in the 6th hole here today. Bass comes into this one hitting .286, 4 home runs, and 15 RBIs. Hinkle looks in. Here's the pitch. And that one's on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 1 run in the inning on the Coco Johnson solo home run. Windy City leads 1-0, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Here's the 0-1. And this one fouled back over the right field stands. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And so far from Hinkle, we've seen has been pretty good getting ahead of batters tonight. It's what we've wanted to see. He's had some struggles with that early on in the season. So far tonight has been ahead of all but 1 batter he's faced. Hinkle looking in to McKeon. Has his sign. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Hinkle strikes him out, and the inning is over. Windy City does get a run in the inning on the solo home run. No errors and nobody left on base. And after a half inning of play, the score, Windy City 1, your Washington Wild Things coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the first, and the score, Windy City 1, your Washington Wild Things nothing. The Windy City Thunderbolts take the field like this, and the outfield left to right, it's Kiefer, Barker, Johnson, Barker, and then Kiefer. Left side of the infield held down by Smart and Lalone. Right side by Zier and Beck. And behind the plate is Corey Bass, catching today's starting pitcher, Mitchell Cody. Mitchell Cody entering this game with a record of 0-1, a .376 ERA, making his 3rd start, appearing in his 6th game, has thrown 14 1/3 innings pitched, giving up 10 runs, 6 earned on 17 hits, 4 walks, and 12 strikeouts. So for Cody, you see the walk numbers way down. Does have 12 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings, so he does like to hit the strike zone. We'll see if the Wild Things can find pitches that they can handle this evening. The lineup for your Washington Wild Things looks like this tonight. They'll lead off with their center fielder, Jamal Austin. Batting second at third base, Ricky Rodriguez. In the 3 spot, second baseman, Brian Haar. Batting fourth in right field, Dave Popkins. Hitting fifth at first base, Jimmy Yezzo. Batting sixth in left field, Andrew Heck. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Logan Ox. In the 8th spot, behind the plate, Alex McKeon. And rounding out of the order, batting ninth, the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Windy City does get a run in the top of the first inning. They leave 1-0 as we go into the bottom of inning number 1. And for the Wild Things offensively, the key, as we said, Mitchell Cody likes to pound the strike zone at those 12 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings to just 4 walks. So you're going to see a lot of hittable pitches tonight. We'll see if they can take advantage, get on base, and set up opportunities. And when they do have guys on base, they have to take advantage. They've been leaving runners on base a lot lately. Going to look to produce with runners on base. Wild Things coming to this one with their red alternate jerseys and the white lettering. The Windy City Thunderbolts donning their gray road jerseys. Wild Things record coming into today at 16-14. Windy City at 19-12 as Windy City leads the Frontier League East. Wild Things sitting in 3rd place behind the Joliet Slammers and these Windy City Thunderbolts. Jamal Austin stepping in to lead things off for your Washington Wild Things here in the bottom of the first. Austin comes into this one hitting .246, no home runs, and 5 RBIs. The leadoff man for your Washington Wild Things led the game off with a triple last night. As a look to get on base again here tonight. Cody set, here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike to Jamal Austin. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Cody looking into Bass and steps off as time is called behind home plate. As Jamal Austin steps out, has to fix his batting gloves. Austin and Ricky Rodriguez have both been doing a very good job of getting on base, and that's key for the Wild Things. It's a lot of speed between those two men as Austin takes this one high, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the center fielder for the Washington Wild Things. Jamal Austin started this year reaching in 12 of 14 games. It's a good streak for him to start the year. He's been doing really a good job from that leadoff spot all year long as he takes this one high as well, 2 balls and a strike. Austin leads the team in stolen bases with, with 12, or with 11 in his 29 games played. Here's the 2-1. Austin fouls this one back to the seats and right. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first with Windy City leading 1-0 on the solo home run by Coco Johnson. Cody looking in. Has his sign. Here's the 2-2. Austin, a fly ball. This one hooking to the right side and foul, and it'll get into the seats. Count will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jamal Austin making Mitchell Cody work here in the bottom of the first, fighting off 2 tough pitches and putting them in the stands to even this count. Here's the 2-2. Austin again will foul one away, so a battle here to start the game for Mitchell Cody. And Jamal Austin's been doing this all season. He's been putting together very good at-bats to lead off the game, making the opposing pitcher throw a lot of pitches and waiting for a pitch that he likes and can drive. Cody set. Here's the 2-2. And this one, grind drive, base hit in the left field. So Jamal Austin starts the game with a single, as he did last night. He gets on base to lead things off. Last night was a triple. Tonight it's a single. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez, 269, 3 home runs, and 12 RBIs. Ricky Rodriguez told us in the pregame one of the keys to today's game is producing with men on base. And Jamal Austin gets on here to lead things off. Austin a speed threat over there at first, as Ricky Rodriguez will try to join him. Throw over to first, and the ball gets away from Blair Beck and rolls towards the Wild Things bullpen. Austin around second, and it'll go into the seating area. Austin will get third base. An error on the pitcher, Mitchell Cody, gets Jamal Austin all the way to third base with nobody out. Mitchell Cody trying to pick Jamal Austin off. It skipped off the glove of Blair Beck, rolled to the right field fence, and there's a little gate that allows players to enter the concourse area and allows them to get on and off the field, and the ball slipped between the hole in that fence, so it's a ground rule 2-bagger. Austin gets 2 bases as that ball went in the notch. Right now the umpire's conversing here as to whether Austin should be awarded third base or not. The determination is made as that ball went out, would Austin have made it to third if the ball stayed in play? They do confirm that Austin stays at third base, and the Windy City manager now, Ron Biga, coming out to have a talk with the home plate umpire. Controversial play. Mitchell Cody was trying to pick off Jamal Austin at first base. The ball was in the dirt. It skipped off the glove of Blair Beck and rolled to the right side in foul territory. Right before the Wild Things bullpen, there's a little gate that opens to the field, and the ball slipped through the hole in that gate to go in the seating area. So Jamal Austin awarded another base. Ron Biga's argument is that he was not yet at second base, so he should not get third base. But the umpire's saying that if the ball would have stayed in play, Austin would have ended up at third base. So that's the controversy right now, as the umpire's still talking about it on the field after Ron Biga comes out to argue. Biga will now go back to his dugout, and the ump's now talking to Greg Langben, as Biga's argument is put Jamal Austin back at second. So Austin originally awarded third base, then the umpires conversed, confirmed that Austin was at third base, then manager Ron Biga for the Windy City Thunderbolts comes out, argues, and then the umps change their mind and put Jamal Austin back at second. So there's a runner at second now with nobody out. Austin at second base now. It's a controversy here in the first inning. So after all that, Jamal Austin stands at second base and Ricky Rodriguez is the batter. Cody checks Austin. Austin jumping. Here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike to Ricky Rodriguez. No balls and a strike. So crazy play. Austin only awarded second. The rule is if it goes out of play, the runner gets one extra base. And the determination was whether or not Austin was at second base. And they apparently confirmed that he did not get to second base. And a diving attempt on the ground ball by Taylor Smart at third. As he gets up, he bobbles the ball. So it'll be an infield single for Ricky Rodriguez. There are men at first and second with nobody out to start the game. And after all that, this is exactly what you wanted for the Wild Things. Your first two men reached for your 3, 4, and 5 guys. Brian Haar is due up now. Dave Popkins follows. Jimmy Yezzo after him. Brian Haar comes to this one, 216, 6 home runs, and 19 RBIs, playing second base in tonight's game. First and second, nobody out. Jamal Austin at second after he singled and moved up on a throwing error. Ricky Rodriguez at first, he singled as well. Here's the 0-1 to Haar. The first pitch to Haar is fouled back. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things second baseman. Haar's been moved around the infield lately. A good chance here with runners at first and second and nobody out. Mitchell Cody looking into Corey Bass. Cody has his sign. He's set, checks Austin. And the 0-2. The 0-1, that's low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Jamal Austin was originally on third base after that throwing error, but he was taken back to second base as Ron Biga came out and argued, and the umpires changed their mind. Here's the pitch, and that one's in the dirt as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Austin almost caught off at second base, jumping between first and second. The count goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out here in the top of the first. As Mitchell Cody on the mound facing Brian Haar. They're fixing the scoreboard now. 2-1 is the correct count. Jamal Austin at second, Ricky Rodriguez at first. The pitch. Haar up the middle. Fielded by Zier. Steps on second for 1 on the first. It's a double play. So that changes the inning. A 4-6-3 double play hit into by Brian Haar. And now Jamal Austin moves up to third with 2 outs, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. After all that controversy, might have cost the Wild Things a run, as Austin was on third base with nobody out after the throwing error. He could have easily scored on the infield single by Ricky Rodriguez, but that's a bunch of what-ifs. He's on third now with 2 outs after the double play. Popkins, a fly ball down the left field side, hooking into foul territory, and this will get into the lawn section. No balls and a strike. So Jamal Austin standing on third. He reached on a single, moved to second on the air, and moved to third on the double play by Brian Haar. Dave Popkins, 0-1 count on him. Popkins enters today, hitting .329, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Cody set, here's the 0-1. And Popkins takes this one high for a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the right fielder for the Wild Things. Trying to come through with 2 outs. With a single. Cody set. Here's the 1-1. And this one, Popkins checks his swing and takes outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Wild Things have to start producing with runners in scoring position. Windy City leads 1-0 here in the bottom of the first with 2 outs. Cody's 2-1. Swing and a miss by Popkins at a ball that looked low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popkins not happy with himself as he goes to have a conversation with himself, now steps back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Cody looking in, has his sign, the 2-2. Inside ball 3, count goes full to the Wild Things right fielder. 3 balls, 2 strikes, Jimmy Yezzo, the on-deck batter, if Popkins is able to reach. Cody looking in, has his sign, here's the 3-2. And inside ball 4, 2-out walk, puts runners at first and third for the Wild Things. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo comes into this one, 206, 3 home runs, and 13 RBIs for the Wild Things first baseman. Got the night off last night as Logan Ox played first base. Ox in that designated hitter spot tonight. 2 outs, bottom of the first. Windy City leads 1-0. Jamal Austin at third, Dave Popkins at first. Cody set. Here's the pitch. Yezzo, a drive to right field. This is deep and exit stage right, Jimmy Yezzo. A 3-run home run, and your Washington Wild Things lead it 3-1 here in the bottom of inning number 1. Yezzo is 4th home run of the year, and when you need an attorney to hit one out of the park for you, yo, Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. Yezzo got all of that baseball, and it's now 3-1 Wild Things here in the bottom of the first. That controversy ends up not hurting the Wild Things as they have a big lead, or a 2-run lead now, 3-1, and Andrew Heck stepping in. Heck on the year is hitting .255, no home runs, 7 RBIs. The pitch. Heck takes low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 3 runs in on the 3-run home run by Jimmy Yezzo, and your Wild Things out to a 3-1 lead. Cody set, here's the 1-0. That one's low for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. As we said, Cody's given up 6 earned runs in 14 1/3 innings of work, 10 runs total. Can add 3 to that now. Here's the 2-0. Heck fouls it into the seats, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count here on Andrew Heck. Heck making his 4th straight start in left field. Came off the bench mostly for the Wild Things in the start of the season, now in his 4th start in left field. Cody set the 2-1. And Andrew Heck, a line drive down the left field line. That'll get down, a fair ball, and bounce over the yellow line. So it'll be a ground rule double for Andrew Heck. Heck hits that one off the warning track. It bounces over the gold line on the wall. So that'll be a ground rule double. Heck's on second now with 2 outs. 3 runs already in. And that brings up the designated hitter, Logan Ox. Ox comes into this one hitting .242, no home runs, 3 RBIs. It's 3-1 Wild Things here in the bottom of the first after a 3-run home run by Jimmy Yezzo. Puts the Wild Things on the board and gives them the 2-run lead. Cody set, checks second. Here's the pitch. Ox takes this one for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the designated hitter. Played first base in last night's ball game. Andrew Heck takes his lead from second. Cody checks him. Here's the 0-1. And Ox takes high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Count even at 1-1. Hinkle has a 2-run lead. Here's his team has scored in 3 in the bottom of the first. Cody set the 1-1. Swing and a miss by Ox. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, Wild Things lead 3-1 on the Jimmy Yezzo 3-run home run. Cody has his sign. He's set. Checks second, the 1-2. Swing and a fly ball to right field. Coming in is Kiefer, and he'll make the catch. That is out number 3. However, 3 runs in for your Washington Wild Things on the 3-run home run on 4 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1, the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Windy City 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Your Wild Things lead it 3-1 here at Consol Energy Park after a 3-run home run by Jimmy Yezzo in the bottom of inning number 1. The Windy City Thunderbolts would score a run in the top of the first inning off of Brandon Hinkle after Tim Zier flew out with 1 away. Coco Johnson hit his 3rd home run of the year, a solo shot, and that made the score 1-0 Windy City. Ransom Lalone would fly out, and Corey Bass would strike out to end things in the first. Due up here in the second for the Windy City Thunderbolts, Blair Beck, Cody Kiefer, and Taylor Smart 5, 6, and 7 for the Windy City Thunderbolts, down by 2. Blair Beck stepping in to lead things off in the second inning for Windy City. Beck on the year is hitting .257, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. First pitch from Hinkle is low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. In that first inning, we saw Hinkle getting ahead of a lot of batters, which is what you like to see. And here in the second starts out Beck with a 2-0 count. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 strikeout victim for Brandon Hinkle. He's set. Here's the 2-0. And this ball hit the left field and deep. Andrew Heck going back at the track, and that ball is gone. A solo home run from Blair Beck. And now the Windy City Thunderbolts have cut this lead down to just 1. Their second solo home run of the day as Blair Beck hits one over the left field wall. For Beck, it's his 4th home run of the season, the second home run given up on the day by Brandon Hinkle, and it's now 3-2. Washington Wild Things. After the Wild Things put up a 3 spot in the top of the first, Windy City comes back, another solo home run. That'll bring up Cody Kiefer, the right fielder. Hinkle's pitch. And this one lined towards the left center field gap. That'll get down and roll to the wall. Kiefer around first, heading to second. And he will stop at second with a double following the home run by Blair Beck. So after that 3-run first for your Wild Things, Windy City right back in business here. Blair Beck a solo home run. Cody Kiefer a double. And there's a man at second with nobody out, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Taylor Smart. Smart, 286, 1 home run, 15 RBIs. As Alex McKeon going out to talk to his pitcher, Brandon Hinkle, trying to calm him down a little bit, as he's gotten the first 2 men on with extra bases. So the meeting on the mound is now over. Brandon Hinkle stepping in. Cody Kiefer standing at second base, and Taylor Smart at the plate. Hinkle looking in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, and now steps off as he wants to go through the signs again. Didn't like what he saw on the field. Hinkle has his sign, checks Kiefer at second. Here's the pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Windy City third baseman. 3-2 the score. Solo home run by Blair Beck to start things. Then Cody Kiefer doubled the 1-0. And that's way inside by Hinkle. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Taylor Smart. Smart's played third base in all 5 games against the Washington Wild Things this season. Brandon Hinkle making his 4th start, the number 5 man in the Wild Things rotation. Here's his 2-0. And that one's high as well. 3 balls and no strikes. So after giving that up that double to Cody Kiefer following the solo home run, he's thrown 3 straight balls here to Taylor Smart. Hinkle has assigned the 3-0, and that one's inside as well, ball 4. Taylor Smart a walk, and now there are runners at first and second with nobody out. 1 run in the inning already, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Johnny Ironman. Ironman hitting .225, 2 home runs, and 10 RBIs. As Cody Kiefer stands on second, he doubled Taylor Smart at first after the 4-pitch walk. As Brandon Hinkle looking to settle down. Hinkle looking in. Has the sign he wants. Checks Kiefer at second. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. 5 straight balls thrown by Brandon Hinkle. As the inning didn't start off well, a 2-0 home run by Blair Beck, then a 1-pitch double by Cody Kiefer, and now 4-pitch walk to Taylor Smart. This one in there for a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen. Sam Agnew-Wieland warming up out there. Hinkle looking in, has the sign he wants, checks Kiefer at second. Here's the 1-1. Ironman shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike as the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Johnny Ironman. Ironman played center field in all 3 games against the Wild Things in the last 3-game series. And then this one is the designated hitter. Hinkle looking into McKeon, has his sign, and now he'll step off as Kiefer had a big lead at second base, so Hinkle looking back. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. A run in already in the inning on the Blair Beck solo home run. For Beck, it was his 4th home run of the 2016 season. Home runs have produced all the runs today. A 3-run homer by Jimmy Yezzo in the bottom of the first, a solo shot by Coco Johnson, and the solo home run by Blair Beck, as this is not in time for a double play. Ground ball at the middle, a diving stop by Brian Haar at second base, flipped the Wobrock, and just didn't have time to make the play at first. So now 1 out on the fielder's choice, 4-6 for Johnny Ironman. There are runners at first and third, as Kiefer moves up to third on the play, and Taylor Smart eliminated at second. And that brings up the center fielder, Kevin Barker. Barker enters this one, 176, 1 home run, and 8 RBIs. As manager Ron Bickel was coming out to check on Ironman at first base. He kind of stepped on that bag awkwardly, but he did beat out the throw, and he looks to be okay. Bickel will go back to his spot managing third base. Cody Kiefer over there at third. He doubled with nobody out after the solo home run. And then Johnny Ironman at first, reaching on the fielder's choice. Kevin Barker at the plate, playing in center field tonight. John Williams held that position last night. Throw over to first, and almost does get Johnny Ironman at first base. Brandon Hinkle has that very good pickoff move that we've talked about. Every time he's on the mound, it seems like he picks someone off. Here's the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. Hinkle, the lefty out there, standing in at 5'11", 180 pounds from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Pitched in the Toronto Blue Jays organization a year ago. This one, a check swing, but he did not go around. It's outside for a ball. 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Hinkle set. Checks first. Here's the 1-1. This one grounded to short. Wobrock to second for 1 onto first, and that is in time for a double play. 6-4-3. And that will end the inning. 1 run comes in on the solo home run. A total of 2 hits in the inning, no errors, and a man left on base. After 1.5, the score. Your Wild Things 3, Windy City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of inning number 2, and your Wild Things currently lead this one 3-2. Wild Things getting all 3 runs in that first inning. Jamal Austin reached first base, then moved up to second on a throwing error by pitcher Mitchell Cody. Then Ricky Rodriguez would single. So there were runners at first and second with nobody out. Brian Haar would hit into a 4-6-3 double play, erasing Rodriguez at second. That would move our runner up to third with 2 outs before Dave Popkins walked, and Jimmy Yezzo came through with a 3-run home run. Yezzo's 4th home run of the season, and it gave the Wild Things at that time a 3-1 lead. Andrew Heck would double, and Logan Ox would fly out to end that first inning. Due up here in the second, Alex McKeon, Austin Wobrock, and Jamal Austin, 8, 9, and 1, taking on Mitchell Cody here from Consol Energy Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things winning last night's game by a score of 3-0 behind the 5th straight complete game by Trevor Foss, as Foss continued his dominance last night of this Frontier League. And tonight so far, Brandon Hinkle, tonight's starter's given up 2 runs on 3 hits. Has only walked one man, only one person, and struck out a batter. Cody set, here's the pitch, and McKeon takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things catcher from Terrytown, New York. McKeon comes into this one hitting .222, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. This pitch is a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here in the bottom of the second. Nobody out, and Wild Things win it, leading 3-2. Cody setting the 1-1. McKeon, a ground ball to the left side. Taylor Smart gloves it, throw across to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 5-3 on the putout, and there's one away for your Wild Things here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wolbrock. Wolbrock comes into this one hitting .198, 1 home run, and 7 RBIs. Has seen that average dip as of late. Trying to get it back up there in the number 9 spot in the order. Cody looking in. Has his sign. Here's the pitch to Wolbrock. And he fouls this away to the screen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 3-2 Wild Things lead here in the bottom of the second from Consol Energy Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things looking for a series win today. Cody's 0-1. And Wolbrock takes this one high and outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. You're on the Wild Things shortstop. Cody set. The 1-1. And Wolbrock towards the middle. Bouncing to Lalone. Lalone throws to first. And that's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the second for your Washington Wild Things after the 3-run first inning. And that brings up the center fielder, Jamal Austin. Austin singled his first time up. Last night's game ended up going 2 for 4 with a triple, a single, a ground out, and a strikeout. 2 away here in the bottom of the second. Wild Things lead 3-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Cody set. Here's the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Sam Agnew-Wheeland is sat down in the Wild Things bullpen as Brandon Hinkle was able to get out of that second inning. Cody set in the 1-0. And Austin takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Jamal Austin getting on base to start the game the last 2 nights in a row. Here's the 1-1. And that one's a called strike as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on the center fielder for the Wild Things. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second from Consol Energy Park. Cody set in the 1-2 pitch. And this one's way outside as Austin takes it in the dirt. That count goes even at 2-2. Cody, when he misses tonight, we've seen him miss badly, as he did on that one. Low outside, way in the dirt. But when he's on, he can hit the corners. Cody set the 2-2. And this ball popped up. Right side in foul territory. Beck giving it a chase, and he will make the catch. And that is out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the second. And after 2 innings of play, the score, Windy City 3, your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington 3, Windy City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Be sure to check out MSASports.net every day this spring for the scores, the daily standings, and the weekly rankings, plus daily high school sports broadcasts as well. In May, we will have exclusive coverage of the WPIL baseball and softball playoffs, the WPIL boys volleyball and tennis championships, and the WPIL boys and girls track and lacrosse championships. Anytime, anywhere, always there, every day this spring on the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here in the top of inning number 3 from Consol Energy Park, and your Wild Things currently lead this one 3-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Last inning, Windy City picking up their second run of the game as Blair Beck started things out with a solo home run. It was his 4th home run of the season. That cut the lead to 3-2. Then Cody Kiefer would double. Taylor Smart would walk, so there was first and second, nobody out. Johnny Ironman grounded into a fielder's choice, so runners at first and third now with just 1 out. And Kevin Barker hit into a 6-4-3 double play that would end the top of inning number 2. Ready to start the top of the third. Tim Zier, Coco Johnson, Ransom Malone, 1, 2, and 3, facing off against Brandon Hinkle. Hinkle has just allowed 2 runs on 3 hits so far. And his opposition, Mitchell Cody, 3 runs on 4 hits as your Wild Things lead this one 3-2 here in the top of the third. Tim Zier stepping in 0 for 1 so far, and in last night's game, Zier was 0 for 4 with a strikeout, 2 groundouts, and a flyout. Hinkle set, here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike on the inside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count for Brandon Hinkle. The key, give the Wild Things at least 5 innings, 5-6 innings, and let that bullpen take over. Hinkle set, here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt. And the count goes to 0-2 as it skips by Alex McKeon to the backstop. No balls, 2 strikes. The count on the second baseman for the Windy City Thunderbolts. Brandon Hinkle Just 2 solo home runs to this point. The Wild Things, their runs coming on a 3-run shot by Jimmy Yezzo. Here's the 0-2. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Hinkle could not get Zaire to chase. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the third. Wild Things lead 3-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Hinkle set the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a pitch way outside. And that's the second strikeout victim for Brandon Hinkle and the first out here in the top of the third. That'll bring up the left fielder Coco Johnson. Johnson hit a solo home run his last time up in inning number 1. That gave Windy City an early 1-0 lead. That was before Jimmy Yezzo's 3-run homer made it 3-1. And then Blair Beck added one in the second that made it 3-2. Coco Johnson last night 0 for 3. 2 groundouts, a fly out, and a walk. Here's the pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Coco Johnson. Hitting his 3rd home run of the season in inning number 1. Here's the 1-0. That one's in the dirt as well. McKeon can't block that one. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Brandon Hinkle being very careful here with Coco Johnson, as Johnson took him deep last time. Hinkle set the 2-0. And this ball hit foul off to the right. Goes by the dessert den here at Consol Energy Park and into foul territory. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Here in the top of inning number 3. Wild Things up 3-2. Hinkle set the 2-1. And this ball lined into left field. That'll get down in fair territory. Heck cuts it off before the wall, holding Johnson to a long single. So a good play out there by Andrew Heck keeps Coco Johnson at first base with only 1 away. And that'll bring up the shortstop Ransom Lalone. Lalone 0 for 1 with a fly out thus far. Got 2 of the team's 5 hits. Or 2 of the teams, excuse me. Yeah, 5 hits in last night's ball game. 2 singles, a fly out, and a strikeout. Brandon Hinkle looking in. 1 out here in the top of the third. Hinkle has his sign. Throw over to first. And Coco Johnson just gets back in there. A very delayed call by the base umpire Mark Schmidt. Johnson did not slide. He just stepped back into first base. And the tag by Yezzo applied just a little late. No count here on Ransom Lalone stepping in. 0 for 1 today. And another throw over to first. And Johnson again just getting back in there. Hinkle, a very deceptive move over there to first as he stays home all the way until the very last second and then fires the ball over to first. Hinkle, another throw over. And Johnson back again. Johnson not taking a very big lead at first base after seeing that first move, as he was almost thrown out on that first pickoff move by Brandon Hinkle. Hinkle the left-hander, so he's staring right at first base. Here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Ransom Lalone. Lalone, 6'3", 210 from Tulsa, Oklahoma. A returner to these Windy City Thunderbolts. Cicadas causing a problem at home plate as Lalone and the home plate umpire Ron Winning Sr. both batting them away. They're all around here at Consol Energy Park in Washington County. Lots of cicadas in the stands. Here's the 0-1. And that one's low and outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Wild Things coming into this game standing in 3rd place in the Frontier League East. 2 games above 500 at 16-14. Hinkle has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And this one grounded to third. Ricky Rodriguez to second for 1 on to first. And it is in time for the double play. And that will end the inning 5-4-3. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. And after 2.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 3, Windy City Thunderbolts 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the bottom of inning number 3, excuse me, and your Wild Things currently lead this one 3-2. Last inning, the Wild Things would go 1-2-3 as Alex McKeon grounded out, Austin Wolbrock grounded out, and Jamal Austin popped out to end inning number 2. Due up for the Wild Things here in the third, Ricky Rodriguez, Brian Haar, and Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4, facing off against Mitchell Cody. Cody, a rough first inning. We're really settled down. That last inning retired the Wild Things 1-2-3. Did not go deep into the count and gets back on track in the second, looking for success here in the bottom of inning number 3. Hey fans, you know you can receive $100 when you open a new checking account with Clearview Federal Credit Union. Visit them today at clearviewfcu.org for more details. Mitchell Cody going through his warm-up tosses here on a crystal clear Saturday night from Consol Energy Park. Wild Things red alternate jerseys with the white lettering, white pants. The Windy City Thunderbolts in their gray road jerseys with their gray pants. Good crowd here, over halfway full, almost 3/4 of the way full here at Consol Energy Park. All out to support your Washington Wild Things. Everyone who came in, the first 1,000 fans coming into today's game, got a ball cap. So that's exciting. And also tomorrow, a good giveaway. All dads get a sunglass croaky. So come out for that. Also Domestic Violence Awareness Night. And come spend a Father's Day with your father here at Consol Energy Park. We're ready for the bottom of the third. Ricky Rodriguez stepping in. Rodriguez 1 for 1 in this game so far with a single. And in last night's game, Rodriguez would be 1 for 2 with a triple, a sac fly, and a walk. Rodriguez joining us on the pregame show today. Very kind of him to do that from Los Angeles, California. Has played in a lot of different positions for the Wild Things this year. Cody setting the pitch, and Rodriguez swinging a miss, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Rodriguez. We've seen him at third. We've seen him in left. We've also seen him as a designated hitter. Cody set. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a ground ball towards the left side, but it'll go foul past third, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. All 3 runs for the Wild Things coming in the bottom of the first on a 3-run home run by Jimmy Yezzo. As that really got the Wild Things going offensively. Wild Things went 1-2-3 in the second inning. They're looking to get back on the board here in the third. Cody's 0-2. And Rodriguez a fly ball towards the stands and right, but that'll go out of play, and the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. Both Ricky Rodriguez and Jamal Austin really putting battles in there at bats. They've been fighting off a lot of tough pitches, have been taking pitches out of the zone, have been swinging at their pitches, and been doing a really good job at the plate recently. The 0-2, and that one's high for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on the Wild Things third baseman. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Cody looking in. Here's the 1-2. And Rodriguez checks his swing, but takes this one low and outside. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mitchell Cody, after a rough first inning, got the Wild Things 1-2-3 in inning number 2. Cody has his sign, the 2-2. Rodriguez fouls this one off down the right field line, and that'll go into the stands. Foul. Count will remain 2-2. After going 0-2, 2 straight foul balls by Ricky Rodriguez, then took the next 2 pitches. And now another foul ball, staying alive with that 2-2 count. Cody looking in. Has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And Rodriguez, another foul ball that'll go beyond the right field stands. Count remains even at 2-2. Quite a battle going on between Mitchell Cody and Ricky Rodriguez here at the bottom of the third with nobody out. 3-2, your Washington Wild Things lead this one over the Windy City Thunderbolts. All the runs in today's game coming courtesy of the home run. Cody's 2-2. And Rodriguez fouls this one off again. So we'll do another 3 straight foul balls here by Ricky Rodriguez after getting into the 2-2 count. And Mitchell Cody having to work. That's good for the Wild Things in terms of getting the starting pitcher out of the game. Pitch count a big thing here in the Frontier League. If you can get that pitch count up, you're going to see the bullpen quicker and quicker. Cody looking in, the 2-2. And Rodriguez fouls this one off. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Haar, the on-deck batter. As Cody keeps hitting the corner and Rodriguez keeps fouling it off. The more pitches you see in an at-bat, the more likely you are to get on base. Cody has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And Rodriguez takes this one outside. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Brian Harr, the on-deck batter, hitting in the number 3 spot tonight for the Wild Things, as he has all season when he's been in the lineup. Cody set to 3-2. And Rodriguez, a line drive to left field and a base hit. So after a long at-bat, Ricky Rodriguez able to take advantage of a pitch he likes and put it into left field and get on base to start the bottom of the third. A great at-bat by Ricky Rodriguez, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Brian Harr. Harr 0 for 1, hit into a double play as last time. In last night's ball game, went 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Harr leads this team in RBIs and in home runs, 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, as the Cicadas now getting to Cody on the mound as time is called, and he bats them away. They have a warning sign here in the beginning of the game that says, "Watch out for our little friends," warning fans and players about the Cicadas that have come here in Washington County. First pitch to Brian Harr is a strike, no balls and a strike. Harr last time up first and second with nobody out and hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Cody set, checks first and the 0-1. And Harr takes this one in the dirt. Nice block by Corey Bass behind the plate, and the count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Ricky Rodriguez not able to move up as that one bounced off the chest protector of Corey Bass and just rolled harmlessly in front of home plate. So Ricky Rodriguez not able to move to second. Rodriguez at first after his single. Cody has his sign and the 1-1. And Harr pops this one into the seats and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cody just had a really long battle with Ricky Rodriguez over at first base. Rodriguez fouling off a lot of pitches, working the count full before getting on base. Brian Harr just fouls off a pitch, makes it 1-2. Cody has his sign. He's set. Checks Rodriguez. And the 1-2. And Harr, a line drive to left field. Coco Johnson coming in, and he'll make the catch. And that is out number 1 here in the third. 1 away for your Wild Things, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins on the day, no official at-bat yet, walked and scored a run on the Jimmy Yezzo 3-run homer in the first inning. Popkins in last night's ball game ended up going 2 for 4, a single, a solo home run, a fly out, and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Cody looking in, Rodriguez takes his lead from first. Cody kicks and deals. Swing and a miss by Popkins, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things right fielder. Currently leads the team in average with a .329 average, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Cody has his sign. Checks in the 0-1. Popkins takes this one for a strike as well, no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Wild Things lead 3-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Cody looking in, has his sign, and the 0-2. And that one's low in the dirt on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Corey Bass, another nice block behind the plate, has kept Ricky Rodriguez where he is for right now. Dave Popkins, somebody you have to be very careful with. If you leave a pitch over the middle of the plate, he can drive it. Cody set, the 1-2. And that one's high for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Ricky Rodriguez stands at first base. He singled to start this inning before Brian Harr fly out. Cody has his sign, the 2-2. Popkins, a line drive down the right field line, hooking, and lands foul behind the Wild Things bullpen. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, just 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Wild Things Mike Marshall coaching at first base. Manager Greg Langben coaching at third. Mitchell Cody looking in. Has the sign he wants. He's set. Checked Rodriguez at first. And the 2-2. And a ground ball towards second. Tim Zier gloves it. Has no play at second, so he'll just throw on to first. And that is out number 2 here in the third inning. Meanwhile, Ricky Rodriguez moves up to second base with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo hit a 3-run home run in his last at-bat that gave the Wild Things a 3-1 lead at that point. They now lead 3-2. Yezzo got the night off last night as Logan Ox played first. Nick Ferdinand, the designated hitter, not in tonight's lineup, Ferdinand was 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts and 2 flyouts. Yezo at the plate, Ricky Rodriguez at second. Cody set, checks Rodriguez. The pitch to Yezo, and he takes low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. The home run in the first was Yezo's 4th home run of the year. Drives in RBIs 14, 15, and 16. Yezo currently second on this team in RBIs. Cody has his sign, checks second, and the 1-0. Swing and a miss by Yezo, 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch on the outside corner, Yezo not able to wait on the breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Wild Things lead 3-2 from Consol Energy Park. Mitchell Cody looking in. He's set. Checks Rodriguez at second. And the 1-1. Yezo takes way inside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike as he has to twist out of the way of that one. Rodriguez started this inning off with a very long at-bat, fouled off a lot of tough pitches, and was able to get the single into left field. He now stands at second base after the 1-out ground out by Dave Popkins. Cody's 2-1. Yezo takes this one low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. And for Jimmy Yezo, talking to him earlier in the season, when he's at the plate, he looks for a pitch to drive. Not necessarily out of the park, but he likes to find the gaps. And he was able to find a gap and get out of the park in the first inning with that 3-run homer. Cody set, the 3-1. Yezo up the middle, and that's a base hit. Rodriguez will be waved around third. Here's the throw to the plate, and it is not in time. An RBI single for Jimmy Yezo. He has 2 hits. He's driven in all 4 runs, and your Washington Wild Things lead it now 4-2. Yezo in his first 2 at-bats has driven in 4 runs today against Windy City. And that'll bring up the left fielder Andrew Heck. Heck 1 for 1 with a double. Another 2-out RBI for Jimmy Yezo. Both RBIs coming with 2 outs. A 3-run homer in the first and an RBI single here in the third. That'll bring up the left fielder Andrew Heck. Heck in last night's ballgame was 0 for 3, a strikeout and 2 groundouts. Looking to come through with 2 outs and a runner at first. Wild Things lead 4-2. After the RBI single by Yezo, Mitchell Cody set. And the pitch. After a look to first, now the pitch coming. Heck takes low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count, bottom of the third. Wild Things lead 4-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Mitchell Cody has his sign, he's set. And the 1-0. Heck takes this one low and outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Andrew Heck making his 4th straight start in left field after appearing off the bench mostly in the beginning of the year. Local guy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Cody set. The 2-0. Swing and a miss by Heck. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Jimmy Yezo at first after driving in his 4th run on an RBI single. With 2 outs, drove in Ricky Rodriguez from second base and gave the Wild Things a 4-2 lead. Mitchell Cody has his sign. Checks Yezo over there at first. And the 2-1. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out here in the bottom of the third. 1 run in on the Yezo RBI single. Mitchell Cody looking in, has his sign. And the 2-2. Yezo taking off for second. This one lined to left field. Coco Johnson coming on, and he'll make the running catch. And that is out number 3. But the Wild Things add another run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And after 3, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. And going to the top of the 4th, Your score, Wild Things 4 and the Windy City Thunderbolts 2. Brandon Hinkle holding the Thunderbolts off the scoreboard last inning as he faced three men. Tim Zier struck out to start things. Coco Johnson singled, and Ransom Lalone hit into a double play to end that third inning. Do it for the Thunderbolts here in the fourth. Corey Bass, Blair Beck, and Cody Kiefer. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 facing off against Brandon Hinkle. As Hinkle, since that first inning, has really settled down. And he comes here in the fourth, gave up that solo home run in the first, solo home run in the second, and just faced three batters. So far, so good. Here for Brandon Hinkle in start number 4. As we are ready for baseball here in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up the catcher, Corey Bass. Bass 0 for 1 with a strikeout to this point. And in yesterday's ball game, Bass ended up going 0 for 2. Strikeout, ground out, and was hit by a pitch. First pitch from Hinkle here is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Hinkle, the number 5 man in your Wild Things rotation. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Hinkle setting the pitch, and that one's high as well. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out in the top of the fourth. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things lead 4-2 after taking last night's game 3-0. Hinkle's 2-0. And this ball hit the right center field. Dave Popkins running over, and he'll make the catch a couple steps in front of the track, and that is out number 1 here in the fourth. It'll bring up the first baseman, Blair Beck. Beck, solo home run in the second inning. That made the score 3-2. Jimmy Yezzo adding another run on in the bottom of the third, and giving the Wild Things their current 4-2 lead. Beck in last night's game, 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. With 1 out here in the top of the fourth, Brandon Hinkle settling in nicely after that second inning. Here's the pitch. And this one popped up on the infield. Austin Wobrock going over. Now Brian Haar calling everyone off, and Haar will make the catch. And that is out number 2. A 1-pitch out there for Blair Beck. And Hinkle's right where he wants to be now with 2 away in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Cody Kiefer. Kiefer 1 for 1 with a double. In last night's game, ended up going 0 for 3 against the starter, Trevor Foss. 2 outs, top of the fourth. Wild Things lead 4-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Hinkle setting the pitch. Kiefer showing bunt and then takes a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Windy City right fielder. Was the designated hitter in last night's ball game. Hinkle has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And that one's outside as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Hinkle starting behind here on Cody Kiefer with 2 outs. Trying to fight back into this count. Hinkle set the 2-0. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 with 2 away here in the top of the fourth. Here on a Saturday night at Consol Energy Park, the 2-1. And this one popped up right behind short. Austin Wobrock goes back. He'll make the catch. And 1, 2, 3 go the Thunderbolts here in the fourth. After 3.5 the score. Your Wild Things 4, Windy City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whip Pill playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, heading to the bottom of the fourth, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 2. As we go to the bottom of the fourth, Wild Things added an insurance run last inning. Ricky Rodriguez would single to start things, then Brian Haar would fly out, and Dave Popkins would ground out. The ground out moved Rodriguez to second before Jimmy Yezzo came through with an RBI single, and Andrew Heck would fly out to end the inning. Do up for the Wild Things here in the fourth. Logan Ox, Alex McKeon, and Austin Wobrock, 7, 8, and 9 to face Mitchell Cody. Hey fans, every Thursday night game during the 2016 season is Thirsty Thursday at Consol Energy Park, and it's all being brought to you by Frankie I's Bar and Grill, located by the Meadows Casino on Route 19. Join them to enjoy food and drink specials after the game. And don't forget Thursday's features, Buck Beverages, both beer and soda, for just $1. Bottom of the fourth, all 4 runs for your Wild Things, courtesy of Jimmy Yezzo having a good night. Yezzo with a 3-run home run in the bottom of the first. Added an RBI single in the bottom of the third. He's had a good day, 2 for 2 at the plate. After the off night last night, Logan Ox played first base for him last night. Ox due up to lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth, playing in that DH spot in tonight's game. And Ox, as he gets ready to step in here, 0 for 1 with a flyout in this one. However, in last night's game was 0 for 1, reached base twice on 2 walks. So Ox stepping in here to lead off the bottom of the fourth. He flew out in inning number 1. That ended the first inning against Mitchell Cody. Logan Ox, the left-hander versus Cody. Ox signed signed 2 weeks ago now from the Baltimore Orioles system. He takes the first pitch outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Andrew Lowe up and walking in the Windy City bullpen, not throwing yet. He'll go and sit back down. Still no action out there. The 1-0. And that one's outside as well. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the Wild Things designated hitter. Was at first base last night. Ox standing in there at 6'4", 220. Here's the 2-0. And that one's a called strike at the knees. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Wild Things have got the leadoff man on in 2 of the first 3 innings. Looking to do so again here in the fourth. Cody's 2-1. Swing and a miss by Logan Ox, and the count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Wild Things lead 4-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Cody set in the 2-2. And that one's in the dirt. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count here on Logan Ox. Ox appearing in game number 11 for the Wild Things. Cody set. Here's the pitch. Ox fouls this one away. Count sticks at 3-2. Ox 5 walks to 9 strikeouts in his first 10 games with the Wild Things. So is striking out a bit, but does have a good number of walks. So getting on base via the walk in five times here in 10 games. Cody has his sign. Here's the 3-2. Ox pops this one in foul territory, and that'll go into the seats and left. 3 balls, 2 strikes. This is one thing we've seen from the Wild Things today, really putting up a fight, especially deep in counts, fouling off a lot of tough pitches and finding ways to stay alive against the starting pitcher, Mitchell Cody. Cody looking in, has his sign. Here's the 3-2. And that one's low and inside, ball 4. So Ox works the leadoff walk. The Wild Things have the leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 4 innings. And that'll bring up the catcher, Alex McKeon. McKeon 0 for 1. And right now it is 8:11 Eastern Time. And 811 wants to remind you to call 811 before you dig. McKeon stepping in 0 for 1 to this point. In last night's game, McKeon was 0 for 3. McKeon's average was up around 300 about a week ago. Now that average has dipped to 222 before coming into this game. The pitch. Swing and a miss by McKeon. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. McKeon signed after Kyle Pollock went on the disabled list. Pollock was the Wild Things' primary catcher for 1 game. And then he went down with a bicep injury. The backup, Eddie Sarando, started last on Sunday afternoon. Cody set in the 0-1. McKeon takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Mitchell Cody on the mound here in his 4th inning of work. He's only walked 2 batters today, but has been wild and has had to work against these Washington Wild Things. Cody set the 1-1. That one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Logan Ox on first base. He reached on a walk. Wild Things lead 4-2 with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th from Consol Energy Park. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network. I'm Zach Ziegler. Cody set. And the 2-1. McKeon pops this one foul into the seats. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex McKeon, a product of the Boston Red Sox organization. Played in single A for them a year ago. 6'2", 215 from Terrytown, New York. As Cody looks into his catcher, Corey Bass, has his sign. He's set. And the 2-2 to McKeon. Swinging a ground ball to second. Tim Zier bobbles it, flips to second, just does get Logan Ox. And so it's a fielder's choice for Alex McKeon. And they are going to give an error to Tim Zier. So fielder's choice 4-6. As McKeon reaches, they do give an error to Tim Zier on the bobble. And that'll bring up Austin Wobrock. Wobrock 0 for 1. In last night's game was 0 for 3. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. Runner at first is Alex McKeon as he replaced Logan Ox on the fielder's choice. Cody has his sign, looking in. And the pitch. After a check to first, here it comes. Wobrock lines this one down the left field line and into the lawn area for a foul ball. Strike, no balls, and a strike. 0-1 the count. Jamal Austin, the on-deck batter. As Austin Wobrock batting here, the second-year man on this Washington Wild Things team. Cody has his sign. And, the 0-1. Wobrock pops this one in the seats foul as well. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Logan Ox started this inning with a walk, then Alex McKeon hit into a fielder's choice. McKeon standing on first base right now. And Austin Wobrock at the plate. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Your Washington Wild Things took Game 1 yesterday, winning by a score of 3-0. Cody has his sign. Here's the 0-2. And that one's way high for a ball. Corey Bass having to jump out of his crouch. Mitchell Cody getting a chuckle out of that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good reflexes by Corey Bass on that jump. He got some height behind the plate. Cody set. And the 1-2. Wobrock lines this one down the left field line. Running over is Johnson, and he will make the catch for out number 2. Austin Wobrock that close to a double. It's caught by Coco Johnson, and that's the second out here in the fourth. That'll bring up the leadoff man, Jamal Austin. Austin 1 for 2 so far. Singled and scored a run in the first and popped out in inning number 2. Alex McKeon stands on first base here with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. Wild Things lead 4-2 over the Windy City Thunderbolts here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Mitchell Cody looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch coming to Austin. Austin takes this one outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Has battled in both of his at-bats so far today against Mitchell Cody. Cody has his sign and the 1-0. And a swing and a chopper down the left field line. That'll go foul. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jamal Austin patrolled center field in all but 1 game. He has 1 day off this season. Been out there pretty regularly. Andrew Heck played center field for him in the other game. Mitchell Cody has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1. Austin, a fly ball to center field. Barker not moving very much, and he'll make the catch, and that is out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left in the inning. And after 4, the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here in the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the top of the 5th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 2. Last inning, a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Hinkle as he got Corey Bass to fly out, Blair Beck popped out, and Cody Kiefer popped out to end the inning. Taylor Smart, Johnny Ironman, and Kevin Barker due up for Windy City this inning. 7, 8, and 9 against Brandon Hinkle. And as we said, ever since that second inning, Hinkle has been very good. Has been out in front of a lot of batters, only allowing 1 man to reach base since that second inning. The single by Coco Johnson retired 4 straight Windy City Thunderbolts, dating back to the 3rd inning, as he tries to keep that string going here in the top of the 5th with the Wild Things up 4-2. Wild Things come into this game currently sitting in third place in the Frontier League East, a record of 16-14. They are behind the Joliet Slammers. Slammers have a record of 18-14, and these Windy City Thunderbolts sit on top with a record of 19-12. Taylor Smart stepping in. Smart no official at bat yet as he walked and was erased at second base his last time out. 4-2 Washington leads. Brandon Hinkle set. Here's the pitch. And it's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here to start the top of the 5th. For Hinkle, if he can get through 6, it's a very good start. Gives this Wild Things bullpen a chance to work. That one swung on a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's the key really for any starter for these Wild Things. Keep them in the game, go at least 5 or 6, and let that strong Wild Things bullpen take over. Here's the 1-1. And that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. You have Devin Davis, Zach Groats, Andrew Wick, all in the back end of that bullpen who's had success this season. Groats has not given up a run yet. The closer for your Wild Things, the 2-1. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. So 5 or 6 quality innings is usually what you want from your starter here to give the Wild Things a good chance to win. The 3-1, and that one's in there for a strike. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reggie Lawson out on deck. Johnny Ironman due up next in the order, but right now Reggie Lawson standing in that on-deck circle looking to pinch hit for Ironman. Hinkle has his sign. Here's the 3-2. And this one grounded toward short. Wobrock a diving try, but it's into left field for a base hit. Leadoff single for Taylor Smart gives the Windy City Thunderbolts the leadoff man on, and it will be Reggie Lawson stepping in to pinch hit for Johnny Ironman. So Lawson pinch hitting for Ironman. Lawson comes into this one hitting .226, 1 home run, and 14 RBIs. Lawson was out in right field last night. Cody Kiefer playing that right field spot in tonight's ball game. So Johnny Ironman finishes his night as a designated hitter. Ironman 0 for 1, grounding into a fielder's choice. Runner at first, nobody out for Windy City. Throw over there, and Taylor Smart back in. Smart on the year currently has 5 stolen bases in 31 games played. Here's the pitch. And Lawson takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Reggie Lawson's first at-bat today as he's pinch hitting for Johnny Ironman here in the top of the 5th. Hinkle has his sign, the 1-0. And this one's inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the righty. Reggie Lawson standing in there, 6'5", 255 from San Diego, California. Another throw over, and Taylor Smart's back. 2-0, nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Wild Things lead 4-2. As Taylor Smart stands on first. Reggie Lawson the batter. Sam Agnew-Wheeling getting back up in the Wild Things pen. That one's high, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Agnew-Wheeling warming up out there. Brandon Hinkle trying to get this man out. 3-0 the count after a leadoff single by Taylor Smart. Hinkle set. Here's the 3-0. And that one's inside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Reggie Lawson. Pinch hitting for Johnny Ironman. Lawson reaches. Smart moves up to second. And there's runners at first and second with nobody out. That'll bring up the center fielder, Kevin Barker. Barker in this one 0 for 1, hitting to a 6-4-3 double play his last time. That would be key for Brandon Hinkle here. Hinkle looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. Bunting as Barker pulls back and takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Top of the 5th, Wild Things lead 4-2, but Windy City threatening as they have runners at first and second with nobody out. The corners are in. Brian Harr shifted a little bit to the right. Austin Wobrock playing behind the runner at second. Hinkle has his sign, the pitch. Barker bunting. Gets this one down and it'll roll foul. Count goes to 1-1. Alex McKeon wisely laying off of that one as it rolls into foul territory. On the pitch, Jimmy Yezzo is charging, and after he throws the pitch, Brandon Hinkle charging the mound. And Brian Harr making his way over to cover first base. So Wild Things looking for a bunt here. Hinkle looking in, 1-1 the count. Taylor Smart at second, Reggie Lawson at first. Here's the pitch. Bunting, and now he pulls this one back and takes a ball. Count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike, nobody out, top of the 5th. Windy City threatening with the Wild Things up 4-2. Tying run at first base here in the 5th. Hinkle has his sign. Here in the... Almost throws the pitch, turns and looks back to second. 2 balls and a strike, nobody out here in the top of the 5th. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball on the MSA Sports Network. Hinkle set the 2-1. Barker gets this bunt down. McKeon will handle it. Throw on to first is in time to get Barker. The sacrifice bunt worked successfully, as there are now runners at second and third with only 1 away, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Tim Zier. Zier on this day, 0 for 2. Flew out to center and struck out to this point. Brandon Hinkle has runners at second and third. Wild Things are up 4-2 to this point. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Tim Zier 0 for 2. Hinkle looking to retire him. Has his sign. Here's the pitch. Zier ground ball to short. Wobrock charging. Throw to third. And they're going to get Reggie Lawson out at third base. That's the second out. Meanwhile, Taylor Smart comes in to score, and it's now 4-3 Washington Wild Things. So fielder's choice hit into there by Tim Zier, 6-5 on the putout. No RBI as the run scores. And there's runner at first with 2 away. Wild Things up 4-3 now, and that'll bring up Coco Johnson. Johnson 2 for 2. A solo home run and a single to this point. Hinkle looking in, has his sign, the pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Windy City cuts the run to 3 there on that fielder's choice by Tim Zier. Hinkle's 1-0. And that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here. Brandon Hinkle making his 4th start of the year, 5th appearance. He's working here in the 5th. 4 2/3 so far. 3 runs on 6 hits. Throw it to first. And getting back is Tim Zier. Taking a look at Zier over there. Currently has 9 stolen bases in 31 games played. The 2-0. And that one's high to Coco Johnson. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. 1 run in already on the fielder's choice by Tim Zier. As Brandon Hinkle taking the mound, having thrown 3 straight balls here to Coco Johnson. Hinkle has his sign. Here's the 3-0. And that one's high, ball 4. 4-pitch walk. And there are now runners at first and second with 2 away after the 2-out walk to Reggie Lawson. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Ransom Lalone. Lalone on the night, 0 for 2. Fly out and hit into a double play. Hinkle trying to get through 5 here. Has so far given up 3 runs on the night. Walked Reggie Lawson with 2 away. Gave it the fielder's choice to Tim Zier that allowed the run to score earlier in the inning. Hinkle looks in, has his sign. Checks Zier at second, the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 5 straight balls thrown here by Brandon Hinkle, as he's gotten into trouble here in the 5th. Alex McKeon will come out to talk to him, as he's currently given up 3 runs on 5 hits, has only struck out 1 batter to this point, and has now walked 3 men on the night. As we said coming into this game, he had 10 walks to 6 strikeouts. Walks have been his problem this year, as he's allowed a lot of guys to reach base without the courtesy of a hit, and it's been affecting because you cannot field a walk, and it's been hurting the Washington Wild Things in his couple of starts. He is 2-2, however. Does have 2 wins as his team's picked him up offensively. Ransom Lalone steps in, a 1-0 count. Hinkle has his sign and the pitch. Zier taking off for third. Pitches inside, and it got him. It hit Ransom Lalone on the ankle. Lalone had to hit the deck, and the bases are full of Wild Things. Full of Thunderbolts. Greg Langbank coming out of the mound, and we are going to have a pitching change. We're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. Currently, Wild Things lead at 4-3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the top of the fifth, 1 run in already for Windy City, as the lead for the Wild Things has been cut to 1. Wild Things lead at 4-3. And a pitching change for the Wild Things as Sam Agnew-Whelan comes on in this one. Agnew-Whelan with a record of 1-0, a .385 ERA. Appearing in his third game, has made 1 start this year. Has thrown in 7 innings of work, and we have 3 runs all earned on 7 hits, 6 walks, and 6 strikeouts for the right-hander. Started the year on the suspended list, pitched in the New York Yankees organization a couple of years ago, and last year pitched for the Joplin Blasters. Had a record of 3-4 in 25 games. Only made 1 start for the Blasters a year ago. Agnew-Whelan standing in there at 6'1", 210 from Marietta, Georgia. And his first batter face here will be the catcher, Corey Bass, with the bases full of Thunderbolts here and 2 outs in the top of the fifth. Agnew-Whelan looking for a big out, number 3. Tim Zier at third, Coco Johnson at second, Ransom Malone at first. Agnew-Whelan looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the pitch. Swinging a foul ball. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Agnew-Whelan started Sunday afternoon against the Lake Erie Crushers. Picked up a win in that one, as he went 6 innings in that ball game. Agnew-Whelan looking in. Has his sign. Checks Zier at third. The 0-1. And this ball hit the right field. Popkins going over towards the line, and he will make the running catch, and that is out number 3. So just 1 run coming into the inning for the Thunderbolts on 1 hit, no errors, and 3 men left on base. After 4.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of inning number 5, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Windy City 3. Windy City adding a run in the top of this 5th inning as the Wild Things will look to get back on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. Last inning for the Wild Things, Logan Ox would walk. Alex McKeon would replace him at first on a fielder's choice. Austin Wobrock would fly out, and Jamal Austin would fly out to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Due up here in the 5th for your Washington Wild Things, Ricky Rodriguez, Brian Harr, Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4. It was a recipe for success in the 3rd inning when Ricky Rodriguez would lead off with a single. Harr and Popkins would both get out before Jimmy Yezzo drove in his 4th run of the game with an RBI single in the bottom of the 3rd. Wild Things trying to get back on the board, and every Friday night's a fireworks night at Consol Energy Park. Enjoy a spectacular fireworks display after all Friday night Wild Things home games. Mitchell Cody going through his warm-up tosses on the mound, and gave up 3 runs in that first and then gave up a run in the 3rd. But in the other innings, in the 2nd inning, went 1-2, got the Wild Things 1-2-3, and in the 4th walked a batter, and he was replaced on the fielder's choice. That was the only runners he would allow to reach base. Mitchell Cody finishing up his warm-up tosses. There is action out in the Windy City bullpen. As warming out there, Chris Chigos. Chigos pitched in last night's game, got a 1-2-3 inning for Windy City. As Cody's done with his warm-up pitches, and that brings up Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 2 for 2 in this one. Singled in the first, singled and scored a run in the third. Mitchell Cody on the mound, facing Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez has had his number today, 2 for 2 so far. Cody looking in, has his sign, here's the pitch. Rodriguez takes outside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things third baseman. Rodriguez was 1 for 2 last night, joined us on the pregame show today. Here's the 1-0. And that one's low for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Rodriguez says his approach really stays the same in that second spot in the order. Just looks for a pitch he can hit and tries to get on base. Here's the 2-0. Swung on a miss by Rodriguez, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Rodriguez has played third, left, and been a designated hitter this year. Cody looking in, the 2-1. And Rodriguez takes this in the dirt, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Rodriguez worked the count full in his last at-bat, fouling off a lot of pitches before reaching base on a single. Cody looking in. Has his sign, here's the 3-1. And Rodriguez fouls this one away into the seats. Count goes full 3-2. Brian Harr, the on-deck batter, playing at second base tonight. Ricky Rodriguez fighting at the plate once again. A 3-2 count, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. Wild Things looking to add insurance after a run came in the top of this 5th inning. Here's the 3-2. And that one's high, ball 4. Ricky Rodriguez, a leadoff walk. And the Wild Things have had the leadoff man on base in 4 out of the 5 innings in tonight's game. That'll bring up the second baseman, Brian Harr. Harr 0 for 2, grounded into a double play in the first and flew out in inning number 3. And coming out to the mound is Ron Biga. Biga also the manager for the Windy City Thunderbolts. He's returning for his 4th season as the manager of these Thunderbolts, signed November 26th of 2016. He has 30 years in both coaching and scouting and is currently still working in Major League Baseball, a special assignment scout for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He began his coaching career with the Sioux City Explorers as an assistant coach / director of procurement in 2006 and 2007. Meeting on the mound done. Brian Harr stepping back in. Ricky Rodriguez at first. He reached on a leadoff walk. Your Wild Things lead this one 4-3. Mitchell Cody looking in. Has the sign he wants. He's set. Checks Rodriguez at first. And the pitch. Harr takes this one inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things took game 1 last night by a score of 3-0. Currently lead this one 4-3 over Windy City. Here's the 1-0. And Harr hits this one foul off into the right. And that'll go into the seating area. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Before tonight's start, the Windy City Thunderbolts had 5 straight quality starts. Tonight, not a quality start for Mitchell Cody. He's given up more than 3 runs. Cody set. Checks Rodriguez at first. And the 1-1. Harr, a drive to left field. Johnson going back. He will watch it. Exit stage left for Brian Harr. A 2-run home run. Your Wild Things now lead it 6-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. Brian Harr's 7th home run of the season. And when you need an attorney to hit one out for you, yo Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. Brian Harr drives in both Ricky Rodriguez and himself. That'll send Ron Biga to the mound, and we're going to have a pitching change. We'll take a break. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Be sure to check out MSASports.net every day this spring for the scores, the daily standings, and the weekly rankings, plus daily high school sports broadcasts as well. In May, we will have exclusive coverage of the WPIL baseball and softball playoffs, the WPIL boys volleyball and tennis championships, and the WPIL boys and girls track and lacrosse championships. Anytime, anywhere, always there, every day this spring on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance. exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. A 2-run shot by Brian Haar has made the Wild Things lead now 6-3. Pitching change for the Windy City Thunderbolts, as now coming in is Chris Chigas. And the final line on the starting pitcher Mitchell Cody. Cody went 4 plus, giving up 6 runs, all earned on 7 hits, 3 walks, and no strikeouts. The numbers for Chris Chigas as he enters this game has a record of 1-2, a 6.08 ERA. Appearing in his 10th game, has made 3 starts on the season. Has gone 23 2/3 innings, giving up 16 runs, all earned on 24 hits, 9 walks, and 21 strikeouts. Appeared in last night's game and threw a 1-2-3/8 inning against your Washington Wild Things. So Chris Chigas, the new pitcher for Brian Hart, was his 7th home run of the season. Leads the team, RBIs 20 and 21 for Brian Hart. And that'll bring in the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Bottom of the 5th, 2 runs in already on the 2-run homer. Popkins stepping in with nobody out. Here's the pitch from Chigas. And Popkins takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Chigas looking in. Here's the 1-0. Popkins checks his swing and takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 6-3. Your Washington Wild Things lead the Windy City Thunderbolts here in the bottom of the 5th. The 1-1. And Popkins takes this one low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. The long ball benefiting the Wild Things today. A 3-run homer by Jimmy Yezzo in the 1st. A 2-run homer by Brian Haar in the 5th. And Popkins drives this one to right field. Kiefer back to the track, and he will make the catch. And that is out number 1 here in inning number 5. Wild Things leading 6-3. And that'll bring up Jimmy Yezzo, the first baseman. Yezzo 2 for 2. A 3-run homer in the 1st. A RBI single in the 3rd has driven in 4 of the team's 6 runs. Brian Haar's 2-run homer driving in the other runs for your Wild Things. Yezzo's first time facing a left-hander today. As Chigas looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Jimmy Yezzo. Chris Chigas comes in to relieve the starter Mitchell Cody after Cody allowed a 2-run homer to Brian Haar. This pitch outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jimmy Yezzo. 1-1 the count to the Wild Things first baseman. Logan Ox playing that first base spot last night. Jimmy Yezzo would get the night off. Chigas looking in. Here's the 1-1. Yezzo a swing and a miss and a ball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 runs in on the Brian Haar 2-run home run. And your Wild Things currently lead at 6-3. Chigas set. Here's the 1-2. And Yezzo checks his swing, takes low for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th, Wild Things lead 6-3. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and the ball's dropped by Bass, so he has to throw to first to complete the strikeout. Strikeout, 2-3 put out, and there are 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. That'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck on the day is 1 for 2, doubled in the 1st, and flew out in inning number 3. Heck getting his 4th straight start in left field tonight. As Nick Ferdinand getting the night off. Ferdinand's been playing left field since being signed by the Wild Things. Here's the pitch to Heck. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Ferdinand played designated hitter in last night's game as Andrew Heck gets in there for his 4th start. Here's the 1-0. Heck grounds this one to the left side and foul. Count goes to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wild Things up 6-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. Andrew Heck facing Chris Chigas. Wild Things so far giving this crowd of almost 3/4 full something to cheer about. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and fouled away. And the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 runs in the inning on the 2-run home run by Brian Haar. Chris Chigos came in to relieve the starter, Mitchell Cody, after that 2-run homer. Chigos set. Here's the 1-2. And Heck fouls this one away into the seats. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last time the Windy City Thunderbolts were here at Consol Energy Park, they took 2 out of 3 from the Wild Things. But right now, Wild Things have a commanding 6-3 lead as they're trying to win the series this time out. Here's Chigos' 1-2. And that one's inside. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Here on Andrew Heck. Heck was 6 for 8 in the series against Joliet. 0 for 3 in game 1 last night. Here's the 2-2. Heck grounds this one to third. Taylor Smart handles it. Throw across to first. And that retires the side. But the Wild Things add 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Brian Haar. No errors and nobody left on. And after 5, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 6 and the Windy City Thunderbolts 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of inning number 6, and your Wild Things currently lead this one 6-3 as they got 2 insurance runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sam Agnew-Wieland staying out there on the mound as he got the final out in inning number 5. Got Corey Bass to fly out to right field to end that inning and leave the bases loaded. Due up against Agnew-Wieland here in the 6th, Blair Beck, Cody Kiefer, and Taylor Smart. 5, 6, and 7 to face the right-hander Agnew-Wieland. Sundays are Kids Club days at Consol Energy Park. Children 12 and under can join the club for free. They get lots of perks, including a t-shirt, giveaway items, and free tickets to all Kids Club days. For more information, log on to WashingtonWildThings.com or call the box office at 866-456-WILD. The Kids Club is sponsored by Kona Ice, Med Express, PA Leadership Charter School, Pepsi, and Frito-Lay. Tomorrow's Kids Club Day is also Domestic Violence Awareness Day, and all dads in attendance get a sunglass croaky. So come out tomorrow night, spend Father's Day here at Consol Energy Park with your father and the rest of your family, as the Wild Things will take on the Thunderbolts in Game 3. The first pitch by Sam Agnew-Wieland to Blair Beck is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Agnew-Wieland setting the pitch. And this ball lined in the seats in right and foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Your Wild Things lead 6-3 after Brian Haar hit a 2-run homer in the bottom half of this inning. Agnew-Wieland's 1-1. Beck bunting and gets this one down in front of the mound. Agnew-Wieland has it, throw on to first, and that's out number 1, 1-3 on the putout. Nice catch by Jimmy Yezzo at first base over there, as that was to the foul side of first base. Yezzo had to reach across in front of the runner and make that catch to get the first out here in the 6th. That'll bring up the right fielder, Cody Kiefer. Kiefer 1 for 2 so far. Doubled and also popped out to shortstop. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Agnew-Wieland has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Kiefer lined on the left field line and foul. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 1 away here in the 6th, in the top of the 6th. Wild Things up 6-3 over Windy City in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Agnew-Wieland looking in. Has his sign, the 0-1. That one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to Cody Kiefer, playing out in right field tonight. Played in the designated hitter spot in last night's game. A 1-1. Kiefer lined over the head of Brian Haar, and that's a base hit in the right field. A 1-out single. The first hit allowed by Sam Agnew-Wieland, who came in to replace Brandon Hinkle in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Taylor Smart. Smart 1 for 1 to this point. Singled and scored a run in the fifth, and also walked in the second inning. Runner at first, 1 out. Wild Things lead 6-3. Cody Kiefer over there after his single. Second hit for Kiefer on the night. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, and the pitch coming. And lined to right field, that's a base hit. Back-to-back singles here, have runners at first and second with 1 away, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Reggie Lawson. Lawson pinch hit for Johnny Ironman in last inning and walked in his first at-bat. Lawson started last night's game in right field and ended up going 0 for 3 in that contest. First and second, 1 out for the Windy City Thunderbolts. Cody Kiefer on second, Taylor Smart at first. Agnew Whelan has his sign, checks Kiefer at second. Here's the pitch. And just high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Reggie Lawson. Lawson getting his second at-bat tonight as he pinched hit for Johnny Ironman in inning number 5. Agnew Whelan's 1-0. Breaks his bat. Roller to third. Rodriguez has it. Throw to first. And it is in time to get Reggie Lawson. That bat flew into the stands here at Consol Energy Park. Hope everybody over there is okay, as that bat flew way up into the bleacher section on the left field side as they're checking on everybody over there. I think it harmlessly hit a seat as an older gentleman out there holding the bat, so he gets a good souvenir for today, a broken bat. That'll bring up the center fielder, Kevin Barker. So fielder's choice, 5-3 on the putout. Meanwhile, Taylor Smart moves up to second and Cody Kiefer to third with 2 outs now. Agnew Whelan set the pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from McKeon, but not too far. And the count goes to 0-1. No balls and a strike. 2 outs. Runners at second and third for Windy City. Cody Kiefer stands at third, and Taylor Smart at second. They had back-to-back singles before that fielder's choice by Reggie Lawson. Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign. Checks third. Here's the 0-1. And this one ground right back to the mound. Agnew Whelan gloves it, and he's going to take it to the bag himself for out number 3. No runs in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 5.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 6 and the Windy City Thunderbolts 3. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whip Peel playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of inning number 6, and your Wild Things currently lead this one 6-3. Chris Chigas coming in for his second inning of work, relieved Mitchell Cody last inning in the bottom of the 5th after he gave a 2-run homer to Brian Haar. So Cody went 4+, giving up 6 runs, all earned on 7 hits. Chris Chigas, last inning after that 2-run homer, retired all 3 Washington Wild Things he faced, as he got Dave Popkins a fly out, Jimmy Ezzo struck out, and Andrew Heck grounded out. That all after the 2-run homer by Brian Haar. Drew up this inning for the Wild Things, Logan Ox, Alex McKeon, and Austin Woldbrock, 7, 8, and 9 to face off against Chris Chigas. We'd like to remind you, Game 3 of this 3-game series tomorrow night at 5:05 first pitch. Matt Frauden taking the hill for your Washington Wild Things. A lot of things going on tomorrow. It's a Sunday Kids Clubs Day. It's also dads get a free croaky as they come into the ballpark. It's a string to hold your sunglasses around your neck, so you look forward to that. Also, Domestic Violence Awareness Day. Lots going on here at Consol Energy Park. It'll be the last game of a 6-game homestand, and your Wild Things have an off day on Monday, and they start a 3-game series in Traverse City against the Beach Bums Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All those games can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network. And after Traverse City next weekend, we'll be in Schaumburg to take on the Schaumburg Boomers. Chris Chigas going through his warm-up tosses here as we're about ready to start baseball in the bottom of the 6th. Logan Ox will lead things off. Ox getting his third at-bat tonight. Today he's 0 for 1. Flew out in right field and walked in the 4th inning. So Logan Ox stepping in. Bottom of the 6th, Wild Things lead 6-3. Jimmy Yezzo a 3-run homer. Yezzo also an RBI single. And Brian Haar a 2-run home run. Chigas set, here's the pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here on Logan Ox. Ox walked twice in yesterday's game as he was able to reach base. Here's the 1-0. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Chris Chigas looking in. Here's the 1-1. And that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Logan Ox, the left-hander. Facing the left-hander, Chris Chigas. Chigas setting the 2-1. Ox takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. Count goes even at 2-2. Nice curveball there by Chigas. Started on the inside part of the plate and then flew outside. The 2-2. That one's way outside for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. As Ox works the count full, Alex McKeon, the on-deck batter. Chigas set. Here's the 3-2. Ox takes it low, ball 4, and the Wild Things have the leadoff man on for the 5th time in tonight's game in 6 innings. They've scored 6 runs so far, and that brings up the catcher, Alex McKeon. McKeon on the night is 0 for 2. Grounded out in the 2nd, hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th. So Logan Ox walks just as he did in inning number 4. And there's a runner at 1st and nobody out. Chigas has his sign, checks Ox, here's the pitch. And that one's high, ball 1 to McKeon, 1 ball, no strikes. Both Chigas and starting pitcher Mitchell Cody have been a little wild tonight, not being able to find the zone on a consistent basis. Here's the 1-0. And McKeon, a fly ball deep down the left field line. Giving chase is Coco Johnson, and it'll hook foul. McKeon that close to a 2-run homer. It hooked foul, and that will be just a long strike for McKeon. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, bottom of the 6th. Wild Things lead 6-3 here over the Windy City Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts currently sit in 1st place in the Frontier League East, but have been in a little bit of a slump lately. Chigas set, the 1-1 to McKeon. And this one hit to the left center field gap. Coco Johnson coming in, and he will make the catch, and that's out number 1. So McKeon is retired. After Windy City left the Wild Things last week, they lost 4 straight games. They got swept by the Schaumburg Boomers and lost game 1 of a 3-game series to the Lake Erie Crushers. They would win the final 2 games of that 3-game series before coming in to Washington last night and losing 3-0 against Trevor Foss. They're currently down 6-3 here as the Wild Things have 6 runs on 7 hits and the Thunderbolts 3 runs on 7 hits. Austin Wobrock, the batter. Throw over to first, and Logan Ox is back. Ox does not yet have a stolen base for your Washington Wild Things. For Austin Wobrock, 0 for 2, grounded out in the 2nd and flew out in the 4th. Chigas set, here's the pitch. Wobrock bunting, pops it up in foul territory, and a diving catch by Corey Bass. What a play! And that is out number 2. Austin Wobrock pops that ball up. Corey Bass comes out of the crouch, runs over, lays out, and makes a very nice play to retire Wobrock. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Jamal Austin. Austin in this one, 1 for 3, singled and scored a run in the 1st, popped out in the 2nd, and flew out in the 4th. Chigas set, here's the pitch. And Austin takes this one for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Logan Ox standing at first base. He walked to start this inning. Chigas set, here's the 0-1. Austin grounded back to the mound. Chigas makes the play, throw to first, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left after the walk. And after 6, the score, your Washington Wild Things 6, Windy City 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. Pogs can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to Pogs.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of inning number 7, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 6 and the Windy City Thunderbolts 3. Sam Agnew-Whelan out there for his second full inning of work. Did get the final out in inning number 5. Last inning allowed 2 base hits. Blair Beck would ground out to start things. Then Cody Kiefer singled, followed by a Taylor Smart single. A fielder's choice by Reggie Lawson moves runners to second and third with 2 outs. And Agnew-Whelan would get Kevin Barker to ground out to end things in the 6th. Due up here in the top of the 7th for the Windy City Thunderbolts, Tim Zier, Coco Johnson, and Ransom Lalone, 1, 2, and 3 against Sam Agnew-Whelan. As we're ready for baseball here in the 7th, Tim Zier stepping in. Zier 0 for 3. Flew out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, and hit into a fielder's choice in inning number 5. Top of the 7th, Wild Things lead 6-3. Courtesy of a 3-run homer by Jimmy Yezzo, an RBI single by Yezzo, and a 2-run homer from Brian Haar. Agnew-Whelan's pitch. And it's low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count, the right-hander, Sam Agnew-Whelan, appearing in his 3rd game, has made 1 start this year. Here's the 1-0. And that one lined into right field. Dave Popkins will let it fall in front of him, and that's a leadoff single for Windy City. Leadoff man on here in the 7th with the Wild Things up by 3, and that brings up the left fielder Coco Johnson. Ball sinking just a little too fast for Dave Popkins to run in and make that catch. It would have been in the in-between zone where if he dove, he would have overdove, and he couldn't make the catch standing up, so wisely lets it fall in and just allows the single for Zier. Agnew-Whelan set, and the pitch to Johnson. And it's high for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Coco Johnson on the day, 2 for 2. As he had a solo home run in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, and walked in inning number 5. Agnew-Whelan has his sign, and the 1-0 on the way after a long look. Here it comes. Johnson up the middle, and that's a base hit. Back-to-back singles to start the 7th. And there are 2 on with nobody out for the Windy City Thunderbolts. Men are at 1st and 2nd, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Ransom Lalone. Lalone, currently 0 for 2, flew out in the 1st, hit into a double play in the 3rd, and was hit by a pitch in inning number 5. 1st and 2nd as Tim Zier stands on 2nd, Coco Johnson at 1st after back-to-back singles to start this 7th inning. Lalone represents the tying run. Your Wild Things up 6-3. Agnew-Whelan set, checks 2nd, here's the pitch. And Lalone takes a strike at the knees, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the shortstop. Alex McKeon now out to talk to Sam Agnew-Whelan. After tomorrow afternoon's game, the Wild Things do have an off day on Monday. It's a travel day, as they will travel to Traverse City to start a 3-game series with the Beach Bums Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're in Schaumburg to take on the Schaumburg Boomers, the Wild Things' 2nd and final trip out to Schaumburg. Schaumburg will make 2 more trips here to Consol Energy Park later in the season. And after that, they come home to face the Gateway Grizzlies on Wednesday and Thursday, and then a weekend series versus the Florence Freedom. First pitch to Lalone hits him. And with nobody out, the bases are full. A hit by pitch on an 0-1 count, and the bases are full of Thunderbolts here. Wild Things up 6-3 as manager Greg Langbang coming out of the Wild Things dugout to go talk to his pitcher, Sam Agnew-Whelan. For Greg Langbang was the manager of the Traverse City Beach Bums, who your Wild Things will see next from 2008 to 2013. Had a total record of 267 and 212 while with the Traverse City Beach Bums, and they were contender for the Eastern Division playoffs annually. He made the Frontier League Championship Series in 2010 and was named Manager of the Year for Traverse City in 2012, helping the Beach Bums finish with their best mark ever at 64-32. No Traverse City manager has managed more games or coached more games than Greg Langbang in a Traverse City uniform. Langbang coached 6 Frontier League All-Stars and received the Roger Hanners Manager of the Year award, and his teams led the league in many categories, including ERA, RBI, and home runs hit, while managing the Traverse City Beach Bums. Stepping in now, Corey Bass. Bass 0 for 3. Bases full of Windy City Thunderbolts. Wild Things up 6-3. Devin Davis starts throwing out in the Wild Things bullpen. Agnew Whelan set. Here's the pitch. Fouled back to the screen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Tim Zier at third. He singled. Coco Johnson at second. He followed Zier's single up with a single of his own. And Ransom Lalone hit by a pitch. The second time Lalone's been hit today. And he stands on first base. 0-1 the count on Corey Bass. Agnew Whelan has his sign. And the 0-1. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Just above the letters for Agnew Whelan. A sticky situation. Tying run standing at third base for Windy City. Corey Bass represents the go-ahead run. Agnew Whelan's 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice catch by McKeon behind the plate as that ball was outside in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of inning number 7. Wild Things up 6-3. Agnew Whelan trying to get out of this one unscathed with that 6-3 lead intact. He has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. Inside and off the glove of McKeon. It bounces back and they'll have no throw to the plate as Tim Zier comes in on the wild pitch. Coco Johnson to third. Ransom Lalone to second. And it's now 6-4 Wild Things. Wild pitch off the glove of Alex McKeon. Rolled to that concrete backstop. Thought they were going to have a play at the plate. But the ball just didn't get to McKeon in time. Nobody out second and third as the tying run now stands at second base. Count 2-2 on the catcher, Corey Bass. Agnew Whelan looking in. Wild Things up 6-4. 1 run in the inning. Whelan has his sign. He's set. Checks third. The 2-2. And that one's outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Trouble brewing here in the 7th for the Wild Things. As the tying run for the Windy City Thunderbolts stands on second base. Wild Things lead 6-4. Agnew Whelan has his sign. He's set. Checks Johnson at third. The 3-2. Foul back to the screen. Count remains full. Devin Davis warming out in the Wild Things bullpen as he is ready. They just got the signal from the bullpen that he is good to go. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th. 1 run in already. Agnew Whelan looking in. Going through the signs. Doesn't see one he likes yet. Now he has one. He's set. Checks Johnson at third. The 3-2. And it hits him. Corey Bass hit by a pitch, and the bases are full of Windy City Thunderbolts. Out comes Greg Langben, and we will have a pitching change. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network. We're going to take a break. Wild Things currently lead 6-4, but Windy City has the bases loaded and nobody out.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the top of the 7th with nobody out, and the bases are full of Windy City Thunderbolts. 1 run in already in the inning, and Devin Davis coming on the mound, relieving Sam Agnew Whelan. Davis, no record to this point, a .360 ERA, appearing in his 13th game. Has thrown in 15 innings of work, giving up 6 runs, all earned on 17 hits, 7 walks, and 13 strikeouts. The bases are full of Windy City Thunderbolts. 1 run in already in the inning, as Sam Agnew Whelan allowed 2 singles to start things. First and second, nobody out. Hit Ransom alone. The bases were full of Windy City Thunderbolts. Then a wild pitch allowed Tim Zier to score. That made it 6-4 before Corey Bass was hit by a pitch. And the bases are again full of Windy City Thunderbolts. The tying run stands on second. Go-ahead run at first. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Blair Beck. Beck on the day, 1 for 3. A solo home run in the second. Popped out in the fourth and grounded out in the sixth. Devin Davis, big situation. Nobody out, bases loaded. Davis has his sign. Here's the pitch. And low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Blair Beck. Wild Things trying to not let this one slip away. The 1-0. And this one hit the right field. Hooking, and it will land foul by the Wild Things bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. 6-4, Wild Things lead. Devin Davis on to relieve Sam Agnew-Wheeland. Agnew-Wheeland went 1 1/3. So far giving up just the 1 run, responsible for all the men on base right now on 4 hits, no walks, no strikeouts. Davis is 1-1. Checks his swing. He went around, says the home plate umpire, so that's strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Devin Davis, 13 strikeouts in 15 innings of work. A strikeout would be big here if he can get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coco Johnson at third. Ransom Lalone at second. Corey Bass at first. Davis looking in. Has his sign. The 1-2. Swinging a ground ball to short. Wobrock to second for 1 on to first. And a double play for Devin Davis out of the bullpen. Coco Johnson does come in to score at 6-5. However, the double play now has a runner at third with 2 outs. As Ransom Lalone moves to third. Corey Bass erased at second, and a 6-4-3 double play gives your Wild Things 2 outs. That brings up Cody Kiefer, the right fielder. Kiefer 2 for 3. Double pop out and a single to this point. Davis set. Here's the pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. The big double play for Devin Davis. And now the Windy City Thunderbolts have the tying run at third with 2 outs. Davis trying to get out of it. The 1-0. Swing and a miss by Kiefer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big double play, 6-4-3. Did allow a run, but got 2 outs in this inning. Davis looking in, has his sign. The 1-1. And that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Ron Whitting Sr. behind the plate, not giving Davis that one around the knees. Davis set. And the 2-1. This one grounded to first. Jimmy Yezzo has it. Flips to the pitcher covering, and that is out number 3. Just 2 runs come in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. After 6.5 the score, your Wild Things 6, Windy City 5. We're going to keep it right here at Consol Energy Park as we take you down to the field for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But first, a playing of God Bless America. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
Men and women in uniform. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the ocean, all will go. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet home. And now, performing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, let's welcome the New Adventure Learning Center, Mon Valley Hospital Daycare Kids. They will be performing in front of the Windy City dugout. Okay, kids, take us out to the ball game.
You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here in the MSA Sports Network, going to the bottom of the 7th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 6, Windy City Thunderbolts 5. Chris Chigos remaining out there for the Windy City Thunderbolts. Last inning for your Wild Things, Logan Ox would lead things off with a walk. Alex McKeon would fly out, followed by an Austin Wolbrock pop out, and Jamal Austin would ground out to end things in the 6th inning. Due up for your Wild Things here in inning number 7, Ricky Rodriguez, Brian Hard, Dave Popkins. That's been a recipe for success for the Wild Things so far, as in the 3rd inning, the Wild Things scored a single run, as Ricky Rodriguez would single to start things, and 2 batters later he would score on the RBI single by Jimmy Yezzo. Same situation in the 5th inning. Ricky Rodriguez reached on a walk this time, and Brian Harr put a 2-run homer over the left field wall to give the Wild Things at that point what would be a 6-3 lead. Currently Windy City leading 6-5 over your Washington Wild Things. Ricky Rodriguez stepping in to lead things off. Rodriguez on the day, 2 for 2. Singled in the 1st, singled and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in inning number 5. Wild Things up 6-5 here in the bottom of the 7th as they look to add on insurance. Zach Groats warming up in your Washington Wild Things bullpen, the closer for the Wild Things. Warming up an inning early. Chigos set, here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes high for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. One thing we've seen from all these Windy City pitchers is they haven't been very good with their control. They've been all over the place. Rodriguez pops this pitch up and into the stands. Foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on the Wild Things third baseman. Joined us on the pregame show today after going 1 for 2 in last night's ball game with a sacrifice fly. Also singled and flew out and reached on a walk. Here's the 1-1. Rodriguez takes this pitch for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just did hit the inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Wild Things up 6-5 here in the bottom of the 7th. Rodriguez looking to get on base. Wild Things trying to get the leadoff man on for the 6th time tonight, the 1-2. And that one's inside for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The leadoff man for the Wild Things have reached base in 5 of the 6 innings in today's ball game. Chigos looking in. Here's the 2-2. And that one's inside, ball 3. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Try to get Rodriguez to chase a slider going inside, but Rodriguez not biting. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And that one's low, ball 4. Leadoff walk. And Ricky Rodriguez reaches. That's the 6th time today the Wild Things have had the leadoff man reach in this game. And that'll bring up Brian Harr. Scenario looks eerily similar to the 5th inning when Ricky Rodriguez walked and Brian Harr sent a 2-run homer over the wall. We'll see if Harr can come through again with a runner on and nobody out to give the Wild Things some more insurance. Chigos looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. Harr takes low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. For Harr, it was home run number 7 on the year. And RBIs 20 and 21. Here's Chigos' 1-0. Harr, a drive to right field. Going back is Kiefer, and he'll make the catch on the track. Harr inches away from his 2nd home run of the day. It turns into a deep fly out, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins 0 for 2. Walked and scored a run in the 1st, ground out in the 3rd, and flew out in the 5th. Rodriguez at first, he reached on a leadoff walk. Action in the Windy City bullpen. Andrew Lowe warming up out there. Chigos has his sign, the pitch. Grounded towards the middle. Tim Zier dives. He can't get it. It's into center field. Rodriguez around 2nd, trying to head for 3rd. Here's the throw, and it's not in time. Rodriguez in there. A single for Dave Popkins, and the Wild Things have runners at 1st and 3rd with only 1 away. Tim Zier, a diving effort up the middle, couldn't get to it as it rolled into center field. Now the Wild Things in business, 1st and 3rd with 1 out, And that'll bring up Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo 2 for 3. A 3-run homer in the first, a RBI single in the third, and a strikeout in the fifth. Has driven in 4 of his team's 6 runs on the night, as he has runners at first and third now with just 1 away. Yezzo looking to drive in more. He's driven in 4 today. Ricky Rodriguez at third. He walked. Dave Popkins at first after the single. Chigos looking in. Has his sign. The pitch to Yezzo. Outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Yezzo. Trying to come through big here in the bottom of the 7th to give the Wild Things some more runs. The 1-0. Yezzo pops it up. Behind shortstop. Lalone going out. Johnson going in. Johnson calls him off and makes the catch. Here comes the throw to the plate, but Ricky Rodriguez thought twice about going. So a fly out to left field. And there are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Rodriguez broke for the plate initially, but it was a strong throw from Coco Johnson. Rodriguez wisely thought twice about it and went back to third. Staying there. Now first and third with 2 outs. Andrew Heck stepping in. Heck 1 for 3. Doubled in the first, flew out in the third, and grounded out in inning number 5. Manager Ron Biga for the Windy City Thunderbolts coming out of the Windy City dugout. And with that, we'll see if he makes the pitching change. No signal out to the bullpen just yet. But as the whole infield comes in and the outfielders come together, we will officially have a pitching change now. Or no, we won't. It's just a mound meeting here. Biga talking to his pitcher. Chigos, first and third, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And we were talking about Biga earlier. He is still in Major League Baseball, works as a scout or special assignment scout for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And now we will have the official pitching change. It's just giving Andrew Lowe a few more pitches. So with that pitching change, we're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf. Be sure to check out MSASports.net every day this spring for the scores, the daily standings, and the weekly rankings, plus daily high school sports broadcasts as well. In May, we will have exclusive coverage of the WPIAL baseball and softball playoffs, the WPIAL boys volleyball and tennis championships, and the WPIAL boys and girls track and lacrosse championships. Anytime, anywhere, always there, every day this spring on the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the bottom of inning number 7, and your Wild Things lead this one 6-5, runners at first and third with 2 outs. The new pitcher for Windy City, Andrew Lowe. Lowe comes into this one with a record of 1-0, a 1.12 ERA. Appearing in his 11th game, has thrown in 10 2/3 innings of work, giving up 2 runs, all earned on 9 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts for the right-hander, relieving Chris Chigos. Chigos went 2 2/3 innings, not giving up a run to this point, but still responsible for both runners on base, allowing just 1 hit, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Andrew Heck coming up to face Andrew Lowe, as we said. Heck today is 1 for 3, doubled in the first, flew out in the third, and grounded out in the 5th. Lowe pitched a scoreless inning last night against the Wild Things, walking 1 batter in his outing. Excuse me, just allowing a hit. Here's the pitch, and Heck takes outside, snap throw to first, and Popkins just back in there. That was actually called a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. No balls and a strike on Andrew Heck. The snap throw, Dave Popkins alertly gets back to first base. 0-1 the count, Andrew Lowe on the mound. Lowe set, checks Rodriguez at third, the 0-1. And this ball hit deep to right field, but hooking foul. It's a long strike for Andrew Heck. Count goes to 0-2. If that ball was fair, that was a no-doubter. but it falls foul. And Heck will have to do it again. Zach Groats, as we said, ready in the Wild Things bullpen. Low set. Here's the 0-2. Heck takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Bottom of the 7th. Wild Things lead 6-5 over the Windy City Thunderbolts here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Low has his sign. And the 1-2. This pitch low. And the throw to second. They have Popkins caught in a rundown, and a run will score. Popkins will be tagged out. A very smart play by Dave Popkins. Popkins broke for second. When the throw went to second, Ricky Rodriguez took off for the plate. Popkins stayed in a rundown long enough to let Rodriguez score. The run counts, and the inning is over. The Wild Things get a run in the inning on 1 hit. No errors and nobody left on base. After 7, the score, your Washington Wild Things 7 and the Windy City Thunderbolts 5. We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Going to the top of the 8th, and your Washington Wild Things currently lead this one 7-5. A very smart play to end the bottom of the 7th. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Dave Popkins broke for second base, and when the throw came down, it would have nailed Dave Popkins. However, Ricky Rodriguez took off for the plate. Popkins got in a rundown. Rodriguez was able to score, and Popkins tagged out to end the bottom of the 7th. The run counted for Rodriguez, and it's now 7-5 Washington Wild Things. Pitching change for your Wild Things as Zach Groats comes on now. Groats, the closer for these Wild Things, has a record of 1-0 with 4 saves. Does not have an ERA yet. Has appeared in 12 games, giving up or thrown 12 1/3 innings, not giving up a run on 6 hits, 2 walks, and 15 strikeouts for Groats. Groats 12 straight scoreless appearances to start this season, and to look for another one here. A 2-inning save this would be if he could pick it up. And leading off for the Thunderbolts here in the 8th will be Taylor Smart, the third baseman. Smart 2 for 2. Walked in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 5th, and singled in inning number 6. So Zach Groats taking over for your Washington Wild Things. We said 12 scoreless innings coming into this game. Wild Things lead by 2. It's 7-5. Groats set. Here's the pitch. And Smart takes way inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count for Zach Groats. Only 2 walks in his 12 appearances to 15 strikeouts. Groats set. Here's the 1-0. And that one's over the plate for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Wild Things looking to take this series. They won game 1 last night by a score of 3-0. Currently leads 7-5 here. Groats looking in, the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes, as that one's on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Groats, talking to him early in the season, he says he's not looking for these strikeouts. They just happen to happen. He's trying to throw the ball in the zone, and he wants the ball on the ground, but the batters are swinging and missing. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Groats strikes him out, and there's 1 man out here in the top of the 8th. Zach Groats' 16th strikeout of the year. Wild Things up 7-5, and that'll bring up Reggie Lawson. Lawson pinch hit for Johnny Ironman in inning number 5. Lawson so far 0 for 1. Walked in the 5th and hit into a fielder's choice in inning number 6. Groats set. Here's his first pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Groats is 0-1. And that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Trying to back Lawson off the plate. 1-1 the count. 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Groats is 1-1. And that one's in there as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. 7 runs, 8 hits for your Wild Things. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Thunderbolts. And an error for the Thunderbolts as well. The 1-2. And this one fouled off towards the stands. Watch out over there, as the count sticks at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 away here in the top of the 8th. Game 2 of this 3-game series here on the MSA Sports Network from Consol Energy Park. Groats is 1-2. And that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Groats looking for the second out in this inning. Has his sign. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a foul ball back to the screen. Count remains even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Zach Groats, stands in there at 6'2", 200 from Millbrae, California. Pitched in the Houston Astros organization last year. The single-A team for Houston. Signed in the offseason. Groats set. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a foul ball off to the right, back behind the seats. Count remains tied at 2-2. Wild Things a 7-5 lead here in the top of the 8th with 1 out. Zach Groats, the closer for these Wild Things, coming in. Looking to pick up a 2-inning save here. Groats' 2-2 pitch. And Lawson lines this one down the right field line. Hooks foul. So a battle here between Zach Groats and Reggie Lawson. Groats trying to retire him for the second out in this inning. He struck out Taylor Smart to start the inning for his 16th strikeout. Groats set the 2-2. And just inside for a ball. Count goes full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The on-deck batter, Kevin Barker. Or no, out on deck is John Williams. The 3-2. Inside ball 4. So a 1-out walk here for Zach Groats. Gets a runner on base. And it will be John Williams coming out to pinch hit for Kevin Barker. Second pinch hitter used today for the Windy City Thunderbolts. John Williams played center field in last night's game. Williams on the year, 188, no home runs, no RBIs, as he will pinch hit with 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Reggie Lawson reaches first via the walk, and that brings up John Williams. 7-5, Wild Things lead here in the top of the 8th. Zach Groats in from the bullpen, the closer, looking for a 2-inning save. As John Williams takes his time stepping in. Now he finally gets into the batter's box. Groats has his sign, checks Lawson, and the pitch. Williams fouls it back to the screen, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. John Williams' first at bat tonight. Williams in last night's game was 0 for 3. As he played center field last night and hit the number 9 spot. Groats set. Here's the 0-1. Williams ground ball to short. Wobrock to second for 1 on to first. And a double play. That will end the inning 6-4-3. And after 8, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 7, Windy City 5. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Change in the field for the Windy City Thunderbolts as John Williams will stay in to play center field here in the bottom of the 8th. Andrew Lowe back out here in this 8th inning. Lowe came in to relieve Chris Chigos last inning with 1 out, or with 2 outs. So coming in for his first full inning of work. Didn't have to get a batter out as Andrew Heck was batting when Dave Popkins took off for second base. The throw to second beat Popkins by a mile. However, Ricky Rodriguez broke for home on the play. Popkins wisely gets in a rundown, allows Rodriguez to score before being tagged out. The one hit last inning, a run coming in for the Wild Things. They lead 7-5, looking for more insurance here in the bottom of the 8th. Zach Groats a clean 8th inning as he struck out the first man, then walked Reggie Lawson and got John Williams into a 6-4-3 double play. Game 3 of this 3-game series tomorrow afternoon, 5:05 first pitch here from Consol Energy Park as Matt Frauden takes the hill for your Washington Wild Things. Frauden a record of 2-1. Wild Things hoping to have the first 2 games in their hands after tonight. They currently lead 7-5. Andrew Heck, Logan Ox, Alex McKeon due up. Heck stepping in. Heck was batting last inning when Dave Popkins got in the rundown to get the Wild Things the insurance run. Heck 1 for 3. Doubled in the first, flew out in the third, grounded out in the 5th. And leading off the 9th, or the bottom of the 8th here for your Wild Things. Wild Things have had the leadoff man reach base in 6 of the first 7 innings. Low set, here's the pitch. Heck takes this one inside for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Andrew Heck, the 4th-year man on this Washington Wild Things team. Low's 1-0. Heck, fly ball on the right field line. This is hooking and it'll go foul. Count goes to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count on Andrew Heck. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th with the Wild Things leading 7-5. Andrew Lowe in for his first full inning of relief. He has his sign. Here's the 1-1. Heck checks his swing and takes high for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. 7-5. Wild Things lead. Lowe set the 2-1. And Heck, a fly ball to center field. Williams initially goes back, now takes a couple steps over and makes the catch. That's out number 1. So the leadoff man not reaching base here in the bottom of the 8th, and that'll bring up Logan Ox. Ox, the designated hitter for your Washington Wild Things. Ox today is 0 for 1 with 2 walks as he flew out in the first, walked in the 4th, walked in the 6th. Lowe's pitch. Ox takes on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 1 out on the Wild Things DH. Wild Things lead 7-5 here in the bottom of the 8th. Lowe set in the 0-1. And that one's way outside and off the glove of Corey Bass. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Logan Ox played in the Baltimore Orioles system earlier this season. Signed by the Washington Wild Things after the Orioles released him. Andrew Lowe looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1. Ox swinging a fly ball to left field. Johnson going back to the track, to the wall. Exit stage left. Logan Ox adding some insurance for the Wild Things. They now lead it 8-5. Logan Ox's first home run of the 2016 season. And when you need an attorney to hit one out for you, yo, Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. Logan Ox's first Wild Things home run goes over the left field wall. It's now 8-5 Wild Things, and that'll bring up the catcher, Alex McKeon. Ox strong as an ox on that swing. As he gets it over the left field wall, gives your Wild Things an insurance run. Alex McKeon at the plate. McKeon 0 for 3. The pitch. Fouled back to the screen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Logan Ox getting his first home run of the 2016 season for the Washington Wild Things. McKeon has a home run and 5 RBIs on the year. Here's Lowe's 0-1. Swing and a miss by McKeon. No balls and 2 strikes. McKeon tried to hold up on that swing, but by the time he got going, he couldn't get it stopped. Low set. And the 0-2. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on the Wild Things catcher. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. A run in on the solo home run from Logan Ox. Wild Things have 3 home runs in this game. Low set the 1-2. Checks his swing and McKeon holds up this time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Wild Things catcher at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out. Here's the pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count on the catcher for the Wild Things. 1 out. Wild Things lead 8-5. 1 run in this inning. Low set. The 3-2. Swinging a foul ball back into the seats. McKeon fighting, and the count remaining full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Alex McKeon, the primary catcher for these Washington Wild Things from Tarrytown, New York, was talking to him the other day. He actually was interested in radio when he was in college. Did some radio work. The 3-2, and that one's outside, ball 4. 1 out walk for Alex McKeon. Anyways, McKeon was into the radio industry, but when he got into college, he found out that it wasn't for him, and he stopped radio. So initially, McKeon going for a radio job, but decided it's not for him. Was talking to him about radio the other day. He said he really liked his time, but just could not continue on that path. Austin Wobrock stepping in. Wobrock 0 for 3 to this point. Here's the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Wobrock ground out, fly out, and pop out today. The 0-1, and that one's high and outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 1 run in here in the bottom of the 8th on the Logan Ox solo home run. As Andrew Lowe pitching now to Austin Wobrock. Wild Things lead 8-5. Lowe has his sign. He's set. Checks McKeon the pitch. Wobrock, a chopper to the right side. Slowly hit. Handled by Beck. Beck takes it to the bag himself, and that's out number 2. Meanwhile, Alex McKeon moving up to second on the ground out. That'll bring up the center fielder, Jamal Austin. Austin 1 for 4 to this point. Singled and scored a run in the first, popped out in the second, flew out in the fourth, and grounded out in inning number 6. Alex McKeon stands on second. He reached on a walk following the Logan Ox solo home run. So 2 outs, a runner at second. The Wild Things lead 8-5. Andrew Lowe looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. Austin check swing foul towards the Wild Things dugout. No balls and a strike. That swing was in self-defense as Austin getting a chuckle out of it. The ball was inside, almost hit him. He check swung, and the ball happened to hit the bat. 0-1 the count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. 1 run in on the Logan Ox home run. McKeon takes his lead from second. Lowe has his sign, checks second, and the 0-1. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. With the Wild Things leading 8-5. Lowe has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 on the way. And that one's outside in the dirt. Count goes to 1-2. Nice block by Corey Bass behind the plate. Keeps Alex McKeon at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Here at Consol Energy Park, Wild Things trying to take Game 2 of this 3-game series after they won last night by a score of 3-0. Low set. The 1-2. Swing and a miss by Austin, and the inning is over. But the Wild Things do get an insurance run on the Logan Ox solo home run. No errors and a man left on base. After 8, the score. Your Washington Wild Things 8 and Windy City Thunderbolts 5. Wild Things try to win it here in the top of the 9th. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of inning number 9. And the score, your Washington Wild Things 8, Windy City 5. Zach Grote's in there looking for his 5th save of the year. It'd be a 2-inning save if he can get it, as he came in last inning. Struck out Taylor Smart, walked Reggie Lawson, and then got the pinch hitter John Williams to hit into a double play. Due up here in the ninth against Zach Groats, Tim Zier, Coco Johnson, and Ransom Lalone, 1, 2, and 3, facing the Wild Things closer, Zach Groats. Game 3 of this 3-game series can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network tomorrow afternoon, 5:05 first pitch, as Matt Frauden takes the hill for your Washington Wild Things. Frauden a record of 2-1. Got a loss his last time out against the Joliet Slammers here at the beginning of this homestand. So Frauden will make the start. Zach Groats warming up for the top of the ninth with your Wild Things up 8-5. Wild Things currently sit in third place in the Frontier League East standings, behind these Windy City Thunderbolts who come in today 19-12, and the Joliet Slammers who sit at 18 wins and 14 losses. So the Wild Things a chance to gain ground in the standings with a win tonight as Tim Zier steps in, and we are ready for baseball here in the top of inning number 9 with your Wild Things up 8-5. Zier on the day so far, 1 for 4. Flew out in the first, struck out in the third, hit a fielder's choice in the fifth, and singled and scored a run in inning number 7. 8-5 Wild Things lead as Zach Groats looking for save number 5. A scoreless 8th inning, looking for another scoreless inning here in the 9th. He has 12 straight scoreless appearances out of the bullpen. Here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Tim Zier. Zier, the second baseman tonight, Groats 16 strikeouts on the season, including his one last inning in the 8th. Here's the 0-1. And this one grounded to first. Yezo, a diving stop, gets to his feet, it gets to the bag, and that's out number 1 here in the 9th. A diving stop by Yezo, was able to get to his feet and get to the bag to get that out. One away in the top of the 9th, that brings up Coco Johnson. Johnson 3 for 3. Hit a solo homer in the first, singled in the third, walked in the 5th, and singled and scored a run in the 7th. One out here in the top of the 9th. Your Wild Things lead 8-5, looking for win number 17 on the season. The pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Groats has his sign. Here's the 0-1. This ball grounded down the left field line. A fair ball. Johnson around first, heading to second as Andrew Heck goes to the corner to retrieve it. Johnson will stop at second, and it's a 1-out double. So Johnson reaches with 1 out. There's a man in scoring position for Windy City, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Ransom Lalone. Lalone on the day, 0 for 2. Flew out in the first, hit into a double play in the third, got hit by a pitch in the 5th, and got hit by a pitch in the 7th. So Groats trying to strand that man at second base. 8-5 Wild Things lead here in the top of the 9th. The closer, Zach Groats, in, trying to finish this one out. Pitched a scoreless 8th inning. And looking to get through the 9th here. Lalone stepping in. 1 out. 8 runs, 9 hits for your Wild Things. 5 runs, 10 hits, and an error for Windy City. Groats set. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Groats trying to get through this inning scoreless. Does have a 3-run lead, but has 12 scoreless innings to start there's 12 scoreless appearances to start the year. The 0-1. That one's in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Groats looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Groats strikes him out. His second strikeout of the day. And there are now 2 away here in the top of the 9th. Your Wild Things trying to win their 17th game. That'll bring up the catcher, Corey Bass. Bass 0 for 3. Struck out in the first. Flew out in the 4th. Flew out in the 5th. And was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Groats 1 out away from picking up his 5th save of the season. Fans getting loud here at Consol Energy Park, rooting on their Wild Things as they try to get the victory. Groats set. Checks second, the pitch. Bass takes outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Wild Things look to improve to 17-14. Groats looking in, has his sign, and the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Count even at 1-1. 2 strikeouts and 2 innings so far for Zach Groats. Struck out Taylor Smart to start the 8th. Struck out Ransom Lalone for the 2nd out here in the 9th. Corey Bass on the day. As we said, 0 for 3. Groats set. Checks Johnson at 2nd. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul ball. The bat flies out of Corey Bass's hands down the left field line. Bat didn't break, it just slipped. And we've talked about it, we've seen that a lot this year in the Frontier League. The bat just slipping out of the hands of the holder. As the batter's not being able to hold on. I don't know if the rosin's the problem or what, but the bats just keep flying out of players' hands. As Corey Bass will get his bat back from manager Ron Biga. They'll try rosining that thing up this time. Bass does not wear batting gloves. I don't know if his hands were sweaty or if that contributed to the problem as he rosins up both the bat and his hand to try to hold on to this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Your Wild Things lead 8-5. Zach Groats looking for his 5th save of the season. Groats looking in. Coco Johnson at 2nd. Groats has his sign. Checks 2nd, the 1-2. Johnson taking out for 3rd, and it's low for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one just missing below the knees. Groats thought he had strike 3, but he'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looking into McKeon. Has his sign. He's set. Checks Johnson at 3rd. The 2-2. Swing and a fly ball deep to left. Peck going back, and this one is off the wall. Coco Johnson comes in to score. It's 8-6 Windy City on the double by Corey Bass. The first run that Zach Groats has allowed all season. A 2-out double from Corey Bass. Still 8-6 Wild Things lead. And that'll bring up the first baseman Blair Beck. 8-6 Wild Things lead after the RBI double by Corey Bass. Beck on the day is 1 for 4. Solo home run in the 2nd. Popped out in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th, hit into a double play in the 7th. Groats set the pitch. This one lined down the right field line and foul over the dessert bar. No balls and a strike. A run in on the RBI double by Ransom Lalone here in the 9th. It's the first run given up by Zach Groats all season. Here through his first 12 appearances. Groats looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And checks 2nd, the 0-1. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Quickly ahead of Blair Beck here as Beck couldn't catch up to the fastball. Fans waiting to see if the Wild Things can get their 17th victory of the season. Groats looking in. The Jaws music playing in the background. Groats has his sign. He's set. Checks 2nd, the 0-2. Swing and a fly ball to right. Dave Popkins back to the track, and he makes the catch. You can put it in the books. The Wild Things win. Final score, Wild Things 8, Windy City 6 as they take the first 2 games here against the Windy City Thunderbolts. We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network with the Washington Wild Things postgame show. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Final score, your Wild Things take Game 2 of this 3-game series and have now taken the first 2 games against the Windy City Thunderbolts. They win this one 8-6. I'm Zach Ziegler here on the MSA Sports Network. Going to take a look at the scoring recap. Lots of scoring to go over in this game. As it started in the top of the first, Windy City would take the early lead as Tim Zier flew out to center to start things. Then Coco Johnson in his third home run of the year, a solo shot that gave Windy City a 1-0 lead. Ransom Malone and Corey Bass would fly out, Bass would strike out to end the inning. Then in the bottom of the first, the Wild Things would take the lead. Jamal Austin and Ricky Rodriguez back-to-back singles to start the first. There were runners at first and second with nobody out before Brian Hart into a double play. Austin moved up to third. Looked like the Wild Things were done, but Dave Popkins walked, and Jimmy Yezzo came through with a 3-run home run, his 4th home run of the season over the left field wall. That gave the Wild Things a 3-1 lead. Andrew Heck would double following the home run, but Logan Ox would fly out, and that would end the first. In the top of the second, the Windy City Thunderbolts would respond as Blair Beck hit a solo home run, Beck's 4th home run of the season, and that made the score 3-2 Wild Things. Cody Kiefer would double, followed by a Taylor Smart walk, before Johnny Ironman hit into a fielder's choice, and Kevin Barker hit into a double play to end the threat in inning number 2. Then in the bottom of the third, the Wild Things would get back on the board. Ricky Rodriguez started things off with a single. Brian Harr flew out, and Dave Popkins grounded out. The ground out moved Rodriguez to second before Jimmy Yezzo came in with an RBI single. It was Yezzo's 4th RBI of the day, and that made the score 4-2, or 4-1 at that point, as the Wild Things would lead 4-1. It was actually 4-2 as Cody Kiefer scored in that bottom of the second. No, it was 4-2 after that RBI single by Yezzo. Yezzo drove in his 4th. Then the Wild Things, the Windy City Thunderbolts will get back on the board in the top of the 5th, as it started off with a single by Taylor Smart, a walk by Reggie Lawson, a sac bump by Kevin Barker, moved on with the second and third with 1 out. Tim Zier hit into a fielder's choice, allowing Smart to score. That made the score 4-3. Coco Johnson would walk. Ransom Malone would be hit by a pitch before Sam Agnew-Whelan would come in and get Corey Bass to fly out with the bases loaded, leaving the score at 4-3. In the bottom of the 5th, Wild Things would add on. Ricky Rodriguez walked, and Brian Harr, a 2-run home run. Harr's 7th home run of the year, put the Wild Things up 6-4 at that point. Then Windy City would add on in the 7th inning as Tim Zier started things off with a single, then Coco Johnson singled, and Ransom Malone was hit by a pitch. So the bases were loaded, nobody out. Then Corey Bass was hit by a pitch. A run would come in. That made the score 6-5. But then, with runners at second and third, Devin Davis got Blair Beck to hit into a double play. So there's a runner at third with 2 outs, and then Cody Kiefer would ground out to end the inning. Wild Things still had a 6-5 lead at that point. Then the Wild Things would add on in the bottom of the 7th inning as Ricky Rodriguez started things off with a walk, then a flyout by Brian Harr. Dave Popkins would single. There were runners at first and third with 1 out before Jimmy Yezzo flew out. Then a smart play by Popkins. Popkins took off for second base. The throw to second was in time to nail Popkins. However, Ricky Rodriguez broke for the plate, so Popkins gets into a rundown. Rodriguez scores, and that makes the score 7-5 Wild Things going into inning number 8. A 3-man 8th inning for Groats. He struck out Taylor Smart, walked Reggie Lawson, and got John Williams hit into a double play to end that 8th inning. Then in the bottom of the 8th, Wild Things would add on after an Andrew Heck flyout. Logan Ox hit a solo home run, his first home run of the 2016 season, and that made the score Wild Things 8 and Windy City 5. Alex McKeon would walk, Austin Wobrock would ground out, and Jamal Austin would strike out to end that 8th inning. In the 9th, Windy City tried to fight back. Tim Zier grounded out to start things before Coco Johnson doubled. Then Ransom Malone struck out, and a 2-out RBI double for Corey Bass scored Coco Johnson, made it 8-6. It was the first run given up all season by Zach Groats. That made it 8-6, and then Groats got Blair Beck to fly out to right field to end the game. Your Washington Wild Things player of the game tonight, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo, 2 for 4, a home run, a single, 4 RBIs in the win for your Wild Things. Drove in 4 of the team's 8 runs. and it was a big day for Jimmy Yezzo. Wild Things take the first two here in this series with Windy City. Game 3 tomorrow night at 5:05 first pitch. Matt Fraud on the hill for your Washington Wild Things. Fraud enters that one with a record of 2-1. Wild Things get the win tonight, improve to 17-14, and the Thunderbolts fall to 19-13. Zach Groats picking up his 5th save of the year. The win goes to Sam Agnew Wieland. The loss going to Mitchell Cody. Tomorrow, 5:05 first pitch. Matt Fraud on the hill for your Washington Wild Things. We'd like to thank you for listening to the MSA Sports Network tonight. Final score, your Wild Things win, Wild Things 8, and the Windy City Thunderbolts 6. Have a good night, everybody.